the slaves, it'd be a whole lot of laws that don't apply to nobody else, thing that are being applied to everybody else, white women and all kind of stuff. So what is he saying? You know, it's
that birthright, y'all heard of? I mean, I want to be translating over here.
No, I mean, part of it is correct.
It clearly is correct. Clearly.
No, a part, so for the record, there were a lot of immigrants that came over and who even signed up for and fought in the Civil War. Like, this is really important for people to understand. And at the same time, there was no legal mandate for what was to happen because Abraham Lincoln, you know, he launched the Civil War. Well, he, you know, there was the Emancipation Proclamation only in 1863 at first, and that was only in the Confederate States, and it was a war tactic. It was literally meant to have, you know, those who were enslaved leaving the plantations and joining the Union Army and just, you know, doing all types of things to disrupt the system in the South. So that lasted until the end of the Civil War. And when the end of the Civil War came, not only did Abraham Lincoln, he had made a lot of different changes and compromises, including like allowing, you know, black generals and leaders, you know, to lead like a black platoon. That's where you get glory from.
Black generals. There were black generals. I didn't know that.
What we're talking about, Dr. Goddess, with he's saying that now that he's gotten this particular ruling, that it's going to help him with the birthright citizenship case. That's what I'm trying to. You said
yeah,
kind of right. I'm getting lost.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So. Well, I brought it up because Abraham Lincoln realized that the Union Army would not have won the Civil War if it weren't for the black soldiers.
Do I look ugly?
And once
it's
he
like Tanny,
realized
it's like you're talking in the chat.
He realized, like, oh my goodness, I have to like make some real concessions, because he was conflicted. He didn't really think that like black people were going to be able to live
like
safely
real in the chat.
in
it's
America,
like the way you talk, Dan.
having just been
Chat
formerly
verbal,
enslaved.
what's the
Okay,
difference,
so
Danny?
they all had to start thinking, okay, what can happen like now? What should happen in the future? So that's what I'm just saying. That's where this comes from.
I'm headed to the gym.
But
Enjoy. This is the Patty Show. And the campaign to elect John Kitover, 2nd Lieutenant retired, 16th Congressional District candidate. Health, wealth, love, peace of mind, happiness, and strength.
Only have so I'm sorry, let me back up.
I'm sorry. I think Lisa's talking about, like, what does this have to do with the birthright citizenship, the ruling today? Is that what you were asking, Lisa?
Yeah, and that's what I'm answering.
100. So we can move on.
Yeah, so well, what I'm saying is that the 14th Amendment was essentially a compromise. The 13th Amendment just abolished slavery, and that's it. It did not give citizenship to those who were formerly enslaved. So you needed something else, and that was being debated. Okay? So the 14th Amendment gives citizenship to those who were formerly enslaved, as well as, you know, the immigrants and other people that had come over that didn't have any process for citizenship. So what Donald Trump is essentially saying is he's saying, like, that he feels that he's gotten further to separate the two and to try to exclude anybody else and to only focus on those who were formerly enslaved.
I would say that he's saying, the relevance that he's saying is, look, immigrants, don't try to come ride the black folks' conversation that was over here. Those particulars of what that was, don't come over here now trying to use that. That don't apply to you. So miss me with that.
But it did apply, though.
No, I'm saying the argument that Trump is saying that he's winning now with the federal courts. I'm not talking about the truth of what he's saying. I'm just saying that's his point of bringing that up. His own way he's trying to finagle the conversation is saying, no, don't do that, immigrants. That was an American thing. It happens to be beneficial to black folks, so that they might want to hear it or may not, but that's not y'all. Y'all usurping what that was all about and using it over here and manipulating this shit to where we got millions of you running around here now talking this, but we don't have babies over here. So he's like, look, that's not what was going on. But
that's completely ahistorical.
But that's exactly what
I
we
think
just
we're
said. So
misunderstanding what he was talking about.
Oh, wait a minute, Anthony. Well, he said right before we went to break, before Lisa pressed pause, he simply said, this is not for people kind of come over here and trying to vacation and then trying to stay. This was for the slaves. That's what he said. He said out his own mouth. So if y'all want to change what he said and make it something else, then I'm going to be confused because I heard him say what he said.
No, I believe he said that. I'm just saying that what he's saying is ahistorical. That's just not accurate in terms of the 14th Amendment.
Okay, so can somebody, I know Anthony said in here, we got a lot of people, First Lady, because, I'm putting this on the side for later to just go and get a copy of the 14th Amendment and try to, I don't want my room to be like that tonight. I'm not going to break all that shit down to the minutia. I'm just trying to get what this fool said. It's 50 minutes. So you guys wanna press play again? Are we cool?
Yeah, let's just hear from Anthony.
Do you wanna? So the 14th Amendment, the first part of it is just. Wait a minute. Let me just.
I don't care about this thing because we're gonna have order in here. Okay? So Anthony did not get a chance to speak. I cut him off. I told him I was going to come right back to him. Lisa wants to get through this tape so that when she goes into her space, she has everything set up. So we're on a tight schedule right now. So can we please go to Anthony? Anthony, can you make it quick?
Yeah, I'll make it really quick. So, the heart to me of what Trump was saying had to do with the overall decision itself, which is that, these like activist judges need to stand down and stop messing up his agenda. That's the heart of what he said to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was how he started out.
So Anthony, I have a question. It's gonna be a short one. Hopefully, please don't turn it into a podcast. What makes him think we didn't have presidents presidenting for quite some time? We've had courts courting for quite some time. Now we get this person, and I'm not gonna disparage him anymore because you guys love him, and it's something about him that's actually making you guys want to constantly be on your knees. So maybe I'm missing it. So this president here is deciding that all this time that America's been America, okay, court's been courting, that all of a sudden everything that they've been doing was wrong. And now that he got his flat ass in the big seat, we need to go in and we need to tear down these established norms. It's just him. Okay. He's the one who figured this shit out out of all these hundreds of years.
Lisa, when we talk about the established norms isn't for there to be one president to have more challenges to his authority than any other president in the 20th century, according to what he said. He's been challenged more than any other president in the 20th century. Make that make sense. I mean, that's why we're here. This is exactly how we get here.
I mean, but many of the things he's been doing really haven't been following at least what has been understood about the Constitution. It's why he's had so many legal challenges, why he's lost over 90% of his legal battles.
Okay.
Hi, Hermes.
We're not going down that rabbit hole. But that's going to make a good conversation for later. I promise it really will.
It is.
So I want y'all to build up all this, these thoughts, okay, if you will. And we're going to have the discussion, but we're going to get through this tape. Lisa, can you roll the tape? Welcome to the stage, Omar.
We can now properly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying
for transgender surgeries and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she can talk as long as she wants because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court today. And with that, I'd like you to listen to the words of Pam Bondi. She's an incredible Attorney General. We're very proud of her. And as you know, Todd Blanche is with us, and we have so many others that worked on this case and other cases. And I think they're doing a great job. Pam, please say a few words.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you for fighting for all Americans. Americans are finally getting what they voted for. No longer will we have rogue judges striking down President Trump's policies across the entire nation. No longer. Today, in the 6-3 opinion, Justice Barrett correctly holds that the district court lacks authority to enter nationwide or universal injunctions. These lawless injunctions gave relief to everyone in the world instead of the parties before the court. As the Supreme Court held today, they turned district courts into the imperial judiciary. Active liberal judges have used these injunctions to block virtually all of President Trump's policies. To put this in perspective, there are 94 federal judicial districts. 5 of those districts throughout this country held 35 of the nationwide injunctions. Think about that. 94 districts and 35 out of the 40 opinions with nationwide injunctions came from 5 liberal districts in this country. No longer. No longer. These injunctions have blocked our policies from tariffs to military readiness to immigration to foreign affairs, fraud, abuse, and many other issues. The judges have tried to seize the executive branch's power, and they cannot do that. No longer. No longer. And on immigration, on a side note, today marks 2,711 arrests on these terrorists and these gangs. Total arrests today with HSI investigations, and thank you, Stephen Miller. Thank you to Homeland Security. Thank you to everyone working hand in hand with the FBI on all of these transnational gangs. TDA has been a huge terror to our country, as well as MS-13, as well as Sinaloa cartels. No longer. No longer. These injunctions have allowed district court judges to be emperors. They vetoed all of President Trump's power, and they cannot do that. This has been a bipartisan problem that has lasted 5 presidential terms, 5 different presidents, and it has ended today. We will continue to fight for President Trump's policies. I want to thank the Office of White House Counsel, Dave Warrington. You and your staff have been incredible. Our Solicitor General's office, John Sowers, Sarah Harris, and Todd Blanche and Emil Bovey. Todd's going to say a few words because we've had another major ruling today on transgender books and some other great wins that we in our country. It is the president's authority under his executive branch to do everything to fight for the American people, and he will continue to do that. That's why he was overwhelmingly elected. Thank you.
I gotta go. Can you hold still?
Thank you. Today's a great day for the rule of law. It's a great day for the justice to.
Wait, I think First Lady wanted you to stop there because she had to run.
Okay, so what happened?
Yeah. She had to go. So that she'll be back. Okay. She wanted you to pause it right there, if that's okay.
Okay, I'm pausing it.
Yeah.
Anybody have any comments on this?
Yeah, I had a couple of comments because I think that I'm just looking at SCOTUS blog right now, and I'm skimming over the opinion, but it's 120 pages. I'm only on 40 something, so I did look at SCOTUS blog, the blog about it, and I have a couple quotes from Amy Coney Barrett. So it's basically, this case is, they don't really get to the issue of birthright citizenship yet. This is more so what about the nationwide injunctions and pausing that, just because obviously Trump is losing a lot in the court, so he's frustrated. So this is a win for him today, a big win for him today. Potentially, or it could just mean that people would just bring individual suits. So we don't know how this is going to really play out. It could be a big win for him, but this is just a nationwide injunction on this particular issue. So there could still be nationwide injunction on other issues. This is just blocking the birthright citizenship from being a nationwide injunction, but doesn't mean that there won't be nationwide injunctions moving forward. It doesn't mean that there won't be a class action lawsuit. So there's other ways to sort of bring litigation, and it doesn't also mean that they won't litigate this. Like, more people would just bring individual suits, although it's a barrier, right? Not, people are going to have to find attorneys that provide their services pro bono, or nonprofits that have the funding to bring these type of suits. You have retaliation from the Trump administration, I'm sure. So it is a tricky situation, but basically this case is about the concept of nationwide injunctions. So so if anyone wants to go, they can go, and I have some quotes from Amy Coney Barrett, and then I'm working on some quotes from Sotomayor. But if anyone wants to,
so I just like to read something from the liberal newspaper, the New York Times. Hold on for a second. It's a quick paragraph. The Supreme Court on Friday limited the ability of federal judges to temporarily pause President Trump's executive orders, a major victory for the administration. But the justices made no ruling on the constitutionality of his move to end birthright citizenship, and they stopped his order from taking effect for 30 days. So this has been a huge victory in the sense of limiting these activist judges from messing with President Trump's initiatives through his executive orders. This is huge. You can't minimize this. This is amazing.
Yeah, you keep saying activist judges, but many of the judges that have ruled on Trump's illegalities, they were Trump appointed. So stop saying these activist judges and these Democrats. What Trump is up against is the United States Constitution. So stop the cap, Anthony.
I also respectfully, Doctor, as was pointed out, it's all coming from five. Yeah, like she addressed me directly, Jay. So I was responding to her. She addressed me directly. It's a little squabble. Yeah, it came from 5 courts. 5 out of 94. 5. The vast majority of those rulings. So I think that they're liberal strongholds. Yeah, I'm saying these activist liberal judges. Absolutely, I'm standing.
So Anthony, I just want to correct you. You weren't having a squabble with Dr. Gaddis. She was stomping you. Just recording.
Thank you, Theo. You're amazing. Just like she stomped you, Theo. Same way that Theo stomped.
Anthony, you just popped off. This is a bigger issue, in my opinion, because this now means that if something was deemed illegal, something was deemed unconstitutional by a lower court, if a plaintiff or if other plaintiffs were not listed on it, it may not qualify. It may not qualify for them, meaning that actions deemed unconstitutional or illegal or even barbaric by courts in certain districts may not cover other individuals anymore, meaning that injustice would be allowed to continue. If that's not an issue for you, then I don't know what is. I'm not even looking at the immigration part. I'm looking at the deeper meaning behind this ruling. It now means that you have to file multiple lawsuits in multiple different jurisdictions for it to be able to cover you or for it to be able to cover other citizens that may not fall in the original jurisdiction where it came down to. If anything, they could have just threw out the injunctions They could have just thrown out the injunctions that were placed in. But to give this ruling throws more power into the hands of the president. And at the end of the day, I'm going to say this as a Democrat, and this is going to piss some of us off in this room probably. It's our own fucking fault that all of these issues are happening. We didn't present an organized front. We turned on a presidential incumbent during the middle of a campaign. I mean, quite frankly, America deserves the shit that it's going through right now. And at the end of the day, as Democrats, we can't even be mad at this shit.
We don't deserve. What do you mean America deserves what we going through? I didn't do this. We don't deserve any of this.
So Jay,
being hyperbolic.
We deserve to keep winning. He's right.
Oh, no, I didn't say all that, Anthony. I'm just saying, like, as Democrats, for the people in the room, the party fucked up in this election. It simply did. Even the Supreme Court justice that died in her role fucked up. She wasn't pushed out. She wasn't told to step down when she knew she was sick. Now, I'm sorry, but we're fucking up. We see that Republicans don't have an issue about pushing niggas the fuck out if they're not falling in line or if they're doing something that's harming their party. But for us as Democrats, we don't do that enough, and that's the issue. But for some odd reason, we decided to do it mid-campaign. No matter how you look at it, no matter how much of a Democrat we want to be, we have to be able to admit that pushing out a presidential elect, sick or not, no matter what the country was saying in the middle of an election, showed that we were not unified. We did not present a front that showed leadership, eventually leading to Donald Trump winning.
That's a mouthful, and half of it is crazy because if you have somebody who is not going to win, it's your job. When you look at the teams and you size up the teams, and you know they got nothing but 3-point shooters, and you got elves, and all their team members are 6'6". What are we doing right now? We need to figure some shit out.
Well, Lisa, we saw that even before the campaign started. We saw the way America was looking at Biden, but yet the party still pushed him forward. At that point, if they're going to still push him forward despite seeing everything America is saying about our elect, about the person we're pushing forward, if we're still going to place him in the front of our party, you might as well jump behind him and push him full force instead of mid-campaign forcing him to step down, pushing his vice president with less than half the time needed to even campaign. That's just a little crazy to me. At the beginning, we should have just put out Kamala or somebody else.
I have to agree with you.
Okay, back to the injunction. Because I'm like, we've we've gone down this whole shit 85 billion times. Welcome to the Bloom Jam. I don't know if I've ever seen him here. I don't know. But
Sid, what you mean?
Yeah.
You know me.
Do I? Let me see.
Sid, you breaking my heart. Nah, don't even do it. You breaking my heart. The amount of times I've been in this room.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I get it. We suck. This is why we lost, etc. I get it. Anyone else want to talk about this case, or what do we do?
Well, now that we have a little bit of time, what I was going to suggest is that somebody just read the first part of the 14th Amendment so that just we're clear. I think it's like 2 or 3 sentences, and I don't want it to be me.
I got something to say about it without people getting triggered. You know, when the bill was wrote, right, if they wrote the bill right now, the 14th Amendment with the current situation, and then it could be interpreted as such, but America back then didn't have an immigration issue, so that wasn't even in the calculations. They didn't predict that people from El Salvador coming to the country have a baby now as an American citizen, right? Those type of things wasn't happening at that time period. So if the Supreme Court judges, right, they're going to analyze that and say, hey, what was in the mindset in the current environment when they wrote that bill? And I do think that they're going to rule in Trump favor. You know, whether I like it or not, I think that he is going to win in this case. And many other countries, even if you outside of that scope, many countries ended birthright citizenship, right? In European countries as well, because they saw it as a current issue. Like in Italy, they don't have birthright citizenship, if I'm not mistaken about it. So we shall see.
Well, I agree with you, Nathan. I think a part of my fear. Well, I'm sorry. Let me back up because I don't agree with you like everything. But so, first of all, there were immigrants, right, and they didn't necessarily have a place. So it did cover the immigrants that were there. But the issue that we're talking about is that we didn't have like the immigrant problem that we have today. Which is being exaggerated, by the way, but I'll state it. Okay, sure. There's issues today, and we do know that birthright citizenship is being abused to a certain extent, and it is also true that other countries do not have or eliminated birthright citizenship. The problem that we have with somebody like Donald Trump in Project 2025 is that if these were white immigrants, they wouldn't be complaining. They wouldn't be trying to overturn birthright citizenship. They're being racist, first of all. Second of all, Project 2025 seeks to undermine and further dehumanize these very black people that they are presently advocating for to remove the 14th Amendment. So I'm not fooled by this bullshit. And I would rather another president who actually understands the Constitution. First of all, Trump doesn't even understand the Constitution of the United States. That's number one. Number two, I would rather some other president to seek, a constitutional convention, and then you can review the different aspects of the Constitution. Trump is a habitual line crosser. He's a habitual liar. He is a habitual non-rule follower. So I don't trust that he's just going to separate the 14th Amendment and just extract that small clause about those born here. I mean, you kind of have to change it. But all I'm saying is, I don't trust that Donald Trump and his Project 2025 cronies are not going to change a lot about the 14th Amendment. And for the record, the 14th Amendment and the commitment to due process, it covers so many other cases in the United States that have set precedents for all of our rights. I feel like that's a part of the 14th Amendment that some of y'all just don't know or you've forgotten. It is one of the strongest amendments in this country, not based on birthright citizenship, but based on due process. And I don't trust that Trump and his cronies are not going to mess with the due process.
I think Nathan makes a good point about the initial writing of the 14th Amendment. It was for the Negro. We got to be honest. It was for the Negro, descendants of slaves, and all that stuff. But I will say this to push back on Nathan. The 14th Amendment or the Constitution itself is a living document, right? It's not just based in the year 1865, whatever, right? Just like the Second Amendment, right? Right to bear arms. Initially, right to bear arms was for who? The British. The right to form a militia was for an invading force, right? But if you fast forward to 1865, the Second Amendment became an amendment for the Negro to go up against the Negro, right? They was going to free the Negro, so we're going to get our Second Amendment to bear arms against the black population. That's what the Second Amendment probably stands for now. They don't want nobody to go up against, they want to go up against the black population. So we got to understand that this document, even though as much as I wouldn't mind a birthright citizenship, that we got to be fair though, because the document is a living document.
Read it to you,
No, I know what you meant when you read it, but it's also a living document.
Yeah, but to certain things they have to be amended. So before the 14th Amendment, enslaved African Americans were not considered U.S. citizens. The amendment overturned in 1857 Dred Scott versus Sanford decision and have ruled that black people could not be citizens, right? So the thing about it, I keep saying this, right? America did not have, because at that time period, Americans and America was extremely violent towards intruders, towards unauthorized people, right? Especially black people. We went to war with Mexico, right? So just think about that mindset. They're extremely hostile to immigrants, right? That wasn't supposed to be here. The small few immigrants, let's say the Chinese immigrants and stuff like that, they were permitted and requested to come here. You didn't come here if they didn't want you here, right? And so that time period, they did not have any type of what you call intruders or people sneaking into the country at all, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but during that time period, the Wild Wild West and all that type of crap, right? They would shoot you. And we know what they did to the Native Americans, right? They made them move. They was in the East Coast and stuff like that. So it was extremely hostile. I don't think that other immigrants, what we talked about in that time period, was like, hey, let's go up over here and find out. They already knew that what was going on, colonization and wars that was happening here in America, right? So it's going to be it's going to be the most interesting case in our lifetime, right? And it's going to be interesting to see. But my calculations on it, and knowing who the Supreme Court is and the powers that be, right? I really just don't think, and I don't think that it's going to be like a retro, like if they're going to go back and say, hey, 5 years ago you was born here, you're not a citizen anymore. Maybe, but I think it's going to be today going forward type of issue.
Let me say this.
If they do pass it.
Yeah, let me say this.
Going forward.
Yeah, got it. Let me say this real quick. The decision today was not about birthright citizenship. Let me say that again. The decision today was not about birthright citizenship. Look what Sotomayor said in the result of today. This is about the president's executive orders moving forward. Right now, today, in the air, in the atmosphere, is really, there's a whole thing. The decision on some of these issues that keep happening all across the country, that's going to go through some processes and children, and there's going to be a whole lot of these things. The decision that was so earth-shaking, so to speak, today from the Supreme Court is that it gives presidents now this ability to put executive orders in on voting or mail-in votes or whatever, and federal judges across the country cannot reverse that without going through a whole different kind of process. And this is what's really got people up, not to mention the particulars that are going to keep happening with ICE and race. That's one thing. But the bigger picture is they made a ruling about executive orders of a president not being able to be stopped. So this gives extraordinary power with someone like a Trump. And you don't think whoever the next president will be after Donald Trump is no longer in office, especially if it be a Democrat or something, they're not going to say, okay, that's how you want to play this from now on? What will it look like being in America when they just start putting other executive orders in under a different president? It just amazing.
The suit. Sotomayor. Sweet. That's what he on. But she did mention birthright citizenship. She slammed Clarence Thomas and all the other conservative judges and how they ignored the fact.
It's hard to hear you. It seems to be breaking up.
Mind that she didn't mention birthright citizenship because she realized.
Well, I'm just saying it's not about the exact of birthright citizenship that you will find when you do the calm research. It's not saying out.
Yeah, I mentioned that people want to get into that conversation. Yeah, about birth certificate, but we know it's about these injunctions. We do know that's what it's about. But that's fine. If you want to talk about birthright citizenship and what Sotomayor said it seems that people want to discuss that instead. So you could discuss that instead. I don't have a problem with that. But we do know that it's about these nationwide injunctions. And like I said, you could still do class action lawsuit. I think maybe more people will bring cases, and there could be a lot of different rulings, and you won't have like this across the board ruling. So I think it's going to create a lot of confusion in the courts. So, but it, TBH or TBD.
This is going to be terrifying for all of us.
Jay hit the nail on the head. I don't agree with Jay's political stance, but he knocked it out the park. Everything he said, word for word, bar for bar, Jay was on.
Well, breaking news. A group suing over Donald Trump's birthright citizenship executive order has already refiled their lawsuit as a class action case and is asking for an emergency block on the policy.
Here we go.
Class action lawsuits are one of the ways that the Supreme Court explicitly indicated were permissible to broadly block a federal government policy.
Yeah, but y'all just told me it wasn't about birthright citizenship. It ain't even about
Believe it or not, though, they're two separate thoughts. Believe it or not, though, they're two separate thoughts.
You're not going to be making those baby voices and acting a fool. So
The decision definitely wasn't about birthright.
Thank you for agreeing, Jay. You hear that, Omar?
Power of the president. I mean, like, quite frankly, we're damn near making our president be able to become kings and queens. I don't know if anybody else is like looking back throughout history, but this is damn near the same as the King of England damn near back in the day. Because now the president has so little checks that it'll either take Congress or the highest court. That's damn near the same as the kings and queens of the bad.
Exactly. And it's beyond Trump. That's for whoever's going to be president, is what I was making the point of.
Yeah, Anthony, that is my question for you, is like, do you think about, let's say Gavin Newsom was president in 2028, do you want him to have all that executive power that you're pushing Trump to have right now? So I do want to hear you on that, Anthony.
Yo, man, my preference would be no. I don't want this for Trump, and I don't want it for Gavin Newsom. But the reality is, how do we get here? We get here by these federal judges overstepping their bounds, them imposing their will on the executive branch, and nobody, no brave man like you, CEO, stepping up and speaking out against it. No one's saying anything like, yo, these judges need to chill. No one's saying anything, just just twiddling their thumbs as while Rome burns. So yeah, I my preference would be none of them had it. That would be my preference.
Yeah, okay,
that's not walking through anything. A lot of people are saying.
Let me just ask Anthony a question. So Anthony, can you walk me through like a specific example of them overreaching? Because to me, it's three separate branches of government. They're supposed to check each other. So, like, can you give me a real example of what you think an overreach was, just so I know what you're saying?
I'm happy to give you an example, and I will go look it up. Off the top of my head, I don't have one right here at this second. However, what I'm saying conceptually is that the executive branch has its purview, and you have had these activist judges, giving nationwide rulings that, they undermine the authority of the president. That's all I'm saying.
And I just thought that's what they're supposed to do. You got three branches of government. You got three branches. It's a federal court that agrees with you. The Supreme Court disagrees with you.
But I mean, this Supreme Court, though, is disagreeing with every single other Supreme Court throughout history. Every other justice that came before any of these justices now would look at them and say, the fuck are y'all actually doing? This is not following the Constitution. I mean, just because one actually, this is going to make more sense. The third Supreme Court that ever came into play once believed that judges shouldn't even be able to review laws or shouldn't even be able to review executive orders or powers whatsoever. Their goal was just to hand out rulings and then leave the rest to Congress for interpretation. That's what one court believed. Another Supreme Court justice back in I believe the fifth tenure of Supreme Court justice that they created believed that slaves aren't even real people. Like, let's stop saying because the Supreme Court rules something, it's right, when we know throughout history, judges, politicians, lawmakers, whatever you want to put it, have made wrong decisions time and time again. And right here is another one. The judicial branch is supposed to have the power of judicial review. All this is doing is making it harder to stop presidents from throwing out executive orders that should, quite frankly, be passed through Congress.
Right.
If Trump wants to do a lot of these things that he's doing, in my opinion, he has the power to pass it in Congress. Why not push it through a bill instead of placing an executive order? Because the majority of this shit that he's doing now, if the next president is a Democrat, if we can get our shit together by then, if they disagree, they're just gonna undo all of this shit.
And Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, she actually wrote a dissenting opinion. And she said in her dissent, quote, "It is not difficult to predict how this all ends. Eventually, executive power will become completely uncontainable, and our beloved constitutional republic will be no more."
And I wanted to say to your point, Anthony, it's not true. I'm just putting in the chat right now how many people have been pushing back. So there have been people in Congress, I just put the link, you can say for yourself, that have been pushing back. So to say that nobody's raising this issue and nobody's talking again, it's just not a true statement. There's many people that have been and are pushing back against it, against what
they
just
pushing back
articulated.
No, you
just got, okay, since you're not clear. You just said CEO, good people like you are not stopping this. And there's nobody
that I'm talking about.
Don't play that game, Anthony. You know what we're talking.
No, I don't think you understand. I'm being honest with you.
No, I do understand, bro. I do understand.
That's why I told you, brother.
No. I'm addressing what you're saying. And I'm giving you the answer. I'm addressing what you just asked, and I'm telling you that little trick of trying to question whether I even know what you're talking about is not going to work right now. You know what we're talking about. I'm staying on point, and so whether I articulated back to you what we know we're talking about, you just got through saying to CEO and your response to him, well, it's not people like you, because he asked you a very specific question about what happens if Gavin Newsom was or Ortez or
you still
Ortez
haven't said the this. Hold on. Even now, you still haven't said the this. What is the this?
I'm not going to say the this because I'm not going to agree to play your game about pretending like we don't know what we're talking about.
My point. You're saying
exactly. Everybody in the room knows what your point is. All of a sudden, you don't know what your point was.
I'm not saying you don't know what my point is, and that's why
that tactic is not going to work.
You literally don't know my point.
That was my rule. Bro, just deal with that tactic, bro. Just deal with that tactic, Anthony.
Sweet, don't address him, all right? Continue, Sweet.
Okay.
I'm going to be looking at the clock. Anthony, do not, if you come your mother effing mic, you're going to fucking go. All right, Sweet,
can I go after
for 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Sweet, Alicia, and then whoever waits.
Wait a minute, before Alicia gets in there, wait a minute, let Anthony and Sweet finish out, but go ahead.
Okay, looking at the clock. So, I put in the chat, my talking point, is that many people in Congress are very aware of the dangerousness of what we're talking about, Jay was bringing up, and what this conversation is about, and what's happened today. And so, the Congress, many people have been saying, hold the hell up. What you're talking about now is giving power to that presidential seat. And whether you like Trump or Kamala or Democrat, regardless of that, you're talking about that whoever sits in that seat moving forward being like a king now. Whether you understand, and it may be that it fits with what you like today, and it's like, hey, he's just addressing issues that needed to be addressed, and okay, understand though, if that power shifts over to a side that you don't like in this very divided country we're in, understand that person will have another 4 years of just putting executive orders in and going to even another level, and who knows where that may go, and you won't even recognize what this thing called the United States of America even looks like.
All right, so to respond to Sweet, I actually agreed with CEO on the point that you just tried to misattribute to me. I said I'm not happy with it. I don't want Trump or Gavin Newsom, the example the CEO gave, to have that much power. I literally said that. So this is the height of ignorance.
Well, I agree. That's not my contention.
You think you're thin.
Okay, sweet. You gotta let him finish. And then you got a 1 minute rebuttal, okay? But
how does he get the last word, Sin? How does he get the last word?
We go 1 minute after that.
Don't address him anymore, and then it ends there. But if you address him, he gets a 1 minute rebuttal. Okay, don't address him, and then that's it. So
no, I have okay, because I hate when people misattribute stuff. He said that he knew the this that I was talking about. He clearly did not know. He's talking about presidential power. I agreed with CEO's point. If CEO's around, I'm sure he would acknowledge that I agreed with his point. This is embarrassing. So, as it relates to these activist judges, this that I was talking about, we need more. The Supreme Court had to do something. It had to address them constantly getting in the way of the executive branch. And it's not to say that they left the people with no options. For example, as Sin is so smart, even though she hates my guts, pointed out the class action shit. There are options. So these ideas that all hope is lost, the judicial branch has lost its teeth, and they can't do anything is nonsense and it's bullshit. And Sweet, you were wrong for misattributing shit to me. I wouldn't do it to you. Please don't do it to me. Thank you very much for listening.
Good. Here's my 1 minute retort to that. I was addressing you stating, that's why when you look at the link, you can put it in context, why I purposefully put the link in the chat. Because you said, CEO, the problem is that there's nobody like you, CEO. You're not stepping up. There's nobody checking this. There's nobody saying anything against it. That was the point that I was addressing. Very crystal clear point. That's why I wasn't going to get caught in trying to restate. I wasn't talking about the fact that you had agreed with CEO. That wasn't the point. The fact that you had said,
I heard it too, Sweet, is what I'm saying. I know what you're saying.
Right, that's the nuance I'm talking about. He want to make my whole attention be about that nuances. That's why I said I'm not getting caught in that nonsense, bro. Miss me with that. That's the little tactic that people like to use when we know. I was talking about very specifically when you said, CEO, nobody else is. The problem is, it sounded like it's some intellectual statement. The problem is nobody else is saying anything about it. Like you, CEO, and you people like you aren't. That's the thing I was contending against, and that part is totally not true. There's many others that are across this country, and probably the world, but this country as it relates to America, that are actually saying what we've been saying in this room, like, this is a big problem, bro. It's not about a Trump or Republican far left, far right conversation. I hate Trump. It's not about that. And there's many people in Congress, which is what matters, that are pointing that out.
CEO, are you naming
Okay, we
yeah, here. Okay, so CEO,
It's not your turn.
Yeah, both of you all are correct. Well, I'll just answer. Both of y'all are correct in the points you're making. I don't know why you're not listening to what Sweet's saying though. He's making a different point than you are, Anthony. So you are right in what you're saying, but he's making a different point, and you just keep not addressing the point that Sweet is making. I don't know why.
Okay, all right, Anthony, that's okay. We have to move on. Okay, Talisha, go ahead.
Your first lady, please step in.
No.
Thanks.
Talisha,
Okay.
I'm tired of hearing your voice.
In terms of the whoever mentioned class actions are an option, I disagree with that, because the problem with class actions is you have to get a class certified. It's not a substitute for an emergency TRO, which is when, there's a situation where if this law is put into effect, that it will do harm that is undoable. It will create such a problem that, no later remedy will be able to address the harm that is expected to occur. It is bizarre as hell to me that anyone is going to say, a nationwide TRO. Bruh, what is the federal government? What are federal laws? Are they not nationwide? So how are we saying This law that is supposed to be nationwide is now only able to be stopped in one place. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's also completely against every single constitutional decision that has ever been made. Because what is the federal government? The federal government is for the United States of America, not just one individual place. Do you know how long it takes for cases even to get to the emergency docket of the Supreme Court? It can take months. That's not an emergency. That's not fast enough to address something that is going to create imminent harm to someone. And I mean, this absolutely is, we just had No King's Day, but they fucking around and making Trump a king, and he's a king of I don't know shit, and all of his little, ass eaters are sucking him right now. I guess not really recognizing that y'all act like all these things are so great until they impact you. Until he says, you know what? I'm going to do a nationwide executive order that's going to impact your food stamps. And because someone in your broke-ass Republican state decides not to sue, oh, that TRO that's granted isn't going to impact you. Nigga, what? Y'all really, I understand that people feel like they have the right to an opinion. But you know what? If you never finished Algebra 1, you don't need to have an opinion on the answer to a calculus problem. Because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. God bless.
So, I got a question for her real quick. So, what are the judges trying to do here, Kalisa? Can you just, break down, from their view, what are they doing and why?
What are they doing? I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Sucking Trump's dick. There's activist judges is a joke for a couple reasons. If you are in the district court, you are not setting precedent. Okay? The trial courts are not setting precedent. You know what courts set precedent? Appellate courts and Supreme Courts, not trial courts. So, what are they trying to do? I don't know, hamstring the checks and balances that were put into the Constitution? Because that's all this actually does. It says, hey, you are supposed to have this power to be able to check the executive. And if the executive doesn't agree, they can appeal it. But now what we're saying is, you don't actually have the power to check the executive. Only certain courts have the power to check the executive, which means that, if there's some imminent harm that's about to happen to you, whenever, Trump decides that he wants to intern the Mexican Americans because that's who, or the Hispanic Americans because that's who he feels like are a danger to us, and, certain states or certain judicial districts decide they're okay with that, then it doesn't pause for those districts. It just pauses for the districts that sue. And that is completely counterproductive to everything in our country's history. But, you know what? Y'all keep wanting to play these stupid-ass games, so play away. Just remember,
but I guess
I'm lying and wrong.
What are we talking
and
about?
Water isn't wet. And you don't hate black women.
The part I'm confused about is some of these judges are strict constitutionalists. So I'm just trying to figure out how did they land on
They're not strict constitutionalists. They're strict bullshitters. Okay? That's what you have to understand. If they were strict constitutionalists, they would not.
No, she's not.
The ones who say that they're originalists. Yeah, well, it's only originalism when it benefits them, when they want to go back to the original documents, when they want to do their little pseudo-history lesson. Because you know what? Do you know what quickening goes back to? And when abortion was legal? Like that whole analysis is fake news.
About abortion?
Because that's when you talk about them being originalists or them being strict constitutionalists, the argument in the Dobbs decision, it completely flouts those principles. So that's a good modern example of when people say, oh, they're strict constitutionalists, the fact that that's just made up bullshit.
And to
you gotta read for yourself, brother. Don't believe a word that gets said on these clubhouse statements.
I'm sure. Yeah. So see, the point that Keisha's making is what that Trump. I'll bring Trump to the witness stand. Why he knew to put certain justices in place. He knew because he knew what he was getting ready to do. And he knew I needed them to be beholden to me, because that is the only thing that could check him would be the Supreme Court to say how what exactly he's doing. That's why I brought up Sotomayor and these votes and not being 9-0, and because it comes down if it's a 5-4 or if there's 11 justices, whatever it may be, the majority is all it takes. So he knew if I don't put my judges in place, I can't do none of this stuff effectively, like he's effectively being able to do it. But the problem is, it sets a precedent for that seat called the presidency, and it allows that presidency, which he happens to be in that seat right now, so okay, this is what you saying the president can do this. And so he's allowed to do that. The problem again is you'd have to have a 3-year vision from now, and assuming Donald Trump doesn't run again, or he's not the president next time around, or someone like him, if it turns to where now people like Mamdani, or if it switches to where like the American people say, hold up, we want a Democrat in here now, and if they decide, all right, that's how you all playing this game, and when they start doing it, do nobody push back. All those that are cool with how this is going, don't say a damn word when the new king takes that seat, and they just start doing whatever that new king want to do because they the president.
So the concern with this is like, say he decides to enact. What?
Just went.
We just heard you talk for 5 minutes. We just want to hear from an expert. We want to hear from a reader.
We are in the middle of a dialogue.
We want to hear from somebody who are not supposed to be in place.
Can you pass the mic around, please? I don't even know how we got onto this.
Yeah, Lisa, it's crazy. But yo, here's what's up, man.
Alright, so let's
hold
just
up,
be
you
simple
guys.
about this.
Wait, hold up. You guys are not paying me to sit here and run shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's very disrespectful. This is my time, and I'm trying to apply information for the room, supply information for the room, and you're going all off. I mean, no one in here is cutting me a check for doing this. So can we just kind of stick to the topic so I can move on?
Put your cash app, sis. Put your cash app.
So I was gonna suggest Kalisa should, Kalisa, give me 1 second. Yeah, I think Kalisa should be able to go, and then Anthony get in then.
Okay, so then you run the room, because you're not gonna sit here and tie up my time trying to enter. No, that's fucked up. Because I said I was gonna. Never mind. You go.
Don't give up the keys to the kingdom.
Lisa, I didn't hear it. Lisa, what were you trying to do?
You want to go back to the recording?
Oh,
Same
my
clips,
bad.
but I think that we got derailed into a conversation.
That's fine. Come on.
Okay, Lisa.
Oh, if y'all want to play clips, anything not to hear Anthony, I hate black people.
Yeah. You know nothing.
Lisa, put your cash app.
Come in and take over the room like that.
You know nothing.
Don't let
Universal justice like that.
Lisa, put your
We're
cash
talking
app.
about universal justice.
Lisa, put your cash app up and play the clip. Come on and play the clip. Come on, sis, get in there. Let's go. What the cash app?
Hold up for you guys. Seriously, I mean, you're messing up my day. Just go ahead and talk for like 5 minutes, and I'll put you the clip back on.
Oh,
No, this is not fair. Seriously, I'm not really kidding. So I will do it. Just give me a moment. I have shit else to do as well.
Okay,
God bless.
So Anthony, hold on, real quick. Well, I just want to say, Anthony, you can say you disagree with her, but Kalisa's very knowledgeable. Don't come at her for like,
man.
Just disagree with her, man. Don't matter for that.
It's okay to say black women who think they're not
attacking me, and this is what you get when you smoke boxes. You can come at her way. I'm not attacking her personally.
You're attacking her expertise. This is her area of expertise.
She doesn't know.
Just say she's wrong. Just say she's wrong.
Okay, that's what I said.
And he respect the woman, man. Damn.
I said she couldn't fill a thimble.
What's wrong with this dude?
Well, Anthony, if you're gonna say that, you better have the best counter argument of all time.
So here's the best counter argument. The majority opinion. I will post
Let's hear the brilliant counter. No, sorry, sweet. So I'm corrected. Anthony has a brilliant counter that's just gonna blow everything away. So I think we should hear it. So let's let him go.
And a big dick.
That's the
okay. Yo, sweet. Why are you talking about a nigga's dick, man?
I didn't talk about the dick. Have you seen his dick? Do you know what his dick is like? What are you co-signing on his dick?
Well, no, but he said he had a brilliant argument, and I think that's the best is him having a big dick.
Man, I ain't thinking about it. I didn't bring up your dick.
You didn't have to.
The weirdo, nigga.
Honestly, stop. You might be going, like, just stop. All right? Everyone's arguing with Anthony. I'm gonna bring him back up. Just everyone mute up. Lisa's on the phone now. We were listening to the clip. This all comes out. I'm gonna bring him back up. This is like ridiculous at this point. And you know how First Lady gets. Y'all act the fool, she gonna boom this shit. So y'all get it together.
Yo, anyway.
Do I permission to finish? Because
no. He has his brilliant counter. We gotta let him do his brilliant counter.
Right,
okay,
I forgot.
Okay, here are some of the highlights. The majority opinion, written by Justice Amy Coney Barrett, held that the Federal Judiciary Act of 1789, not the fucking Constitution, we're talking about the...
I don't like that tone. I'm sorry. Just fix your tone.
Yeah, all that emotion. Destroys your argument when you put all the emotion in.
You get triggered yesterday.
What was Kalisha talking about? Can we say?
Okay, go ahead.
Yo, why did I get home?
Change your, calm down.
Listen,
no one wants to hear people.
I'm not gonna calm down. I'm just gonna stay quiet.
No one. Okay, just shut up. All right, Kalisha.
God bless. You know, I'm here just trying to, be a voice for the people, and
you guys like echo chambers. That's all.
I'm not gonna be quiet.
Shut up!
Keep on moving me to the audience.
You're gonna be quiet.
It's personal with her.
It's personal with her. I don't take. This is not personal. Do I look like I care? No.
You look broke. I'm out of here later.
I look broke.
Nice, sir.
Bruh, Dorothy Dandridge looks broke is crazy. Do you see? Anthony, I hate black women Edwards crashing out.
He gone. He back to his normal self. He don't talk nowhere like that in real life, I promise you.
Yeah, so when we're talking about nationwide injunctions, when you have an injunction that is impacts an executive order, it's going to be nationwide because the district court is ruling on something that is nationwide. The same way in which, if Congress passed a law that we didn't like, or, when Joe Biden, gave the aid for the farmers. Remember, it didn't just pause the aid in Texas. It paused the aid nationwide. What is on your side? Okay? So, yeah, for real, y'all. I just need us to understand that if we don't have a nationwide injunction, then are we saying that the president is going to be able to enact executive orders that only impact some states? Does that make sense to anyone?
No.
Okay, so I think I finally caught up on this. Okay, so the lower district court, you're saying that what you're ruling is only going to apply locally. It's got to be a federal court to make it apply national.
No. All district courts are federal courts. That's what I think is the misunderstanding here. Okay, y'all? So we gonna do a quick little lesson, all right?
Can you just, what are the levels again? Can you just
I can do California because that's where I know New York does some weird ass shit where their Supreme Court is the trial court. So you got the trial court, that's the first level. In state court, that would be, California, that would be like California State Court, wherever you are, San Bernardino County, okay? And then you got the appellate court. The appellate court is by district. So, if you in the, let's say you're in bumfuck nowhere of California, you might be in the 3rd appellate district, okay? So if you're in the 3rd appellate district, then you'll go sit at that. You'll bring your case to that appellate court. And if it goes up again, it'll go to the California Supreme Court. There's only one California Supreme Court. Now, when we're talking about federal court, the first level is the district court. So for California, that would be the California, the Central District. There's like a Southern District, an Eastern District, and a Northern District. So you would go to, because California has so many people, Montana has one motherfucking district, okay? So yeah, you have your district court in wherever you are. That is the federal district court. In order to be in federal court, in order to have standing in federal court, it has to be a question of federal law, or there have to be parties in diversity, which means that they live in different states with an amount of controversy over $75,000. Okay? So when we're talking about, these activist district courts, they are federal courts because the thing in controversy is federal law, right? Or a federal action, like the executive order. So yes, that is governed by the federal district court. And if you don't agree, then you would appeal it to the appellate court, which is where like your circuit is. So I'm in the 9th Circuit, so we would take it to the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. And then if it's real juicy, they might take it en banc. And that's when there's like a panel of judges that sit. And then if it's still, if we're still fighting, the Supreme Court gets to decide whether or not they will hear the case. Oh, God bless, the room is being streamed on YouTube. Y'all messy as hell. Anyway, so yes, those are the different courts. And yes, this is a big issue because it does impact federal courts.
Wait, I'm sorry, this room is being streamed right now?
I got a text message from someone, so just be mindful.
Okay, and so this ruling, does it apply only to the district courts, or does it also apply to the Court of Appeals?
You can't bring something like, you can't go directly to the Court of Appeals, okay? So you have to work your way through the process. You don't just get to go straight to the Supreme Court. So everybody starts out in the same place, which is the district court, okay? So when you go to the appellate court, you're not talking about, you're talking about like procedural errors. You're not talking about the actual facts of the case. So it's different. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, so you're saying that the circuit court cannot make the full decision? They only are doing procedural matters?
No, the circuit court is the district court. Circuit court is the first level. They hear everything. They hear the trial. They hear all the facts. When we talk about appellate courts, they hear whatever the procedural issue is, and they defer to the trial court judge. And then when you go to the Supreme Court, you hear whatever procedural issue is being raised or question of law is being raised at the Supreme Court level. But you can't get to the Supreme Court unless first you go to the district court, which is why this is like not only, it doesn't make any sense, but it also is going to back up the courts an insane amount. Because if I disagree with something and I bring a lawsuit and it only impacts me in California, then that means that another person who brings this lawsuit is also going to have to bring it in every single federal district.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to ask.
If they appeal, all of those cases are going to work their way up.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get clarity on this one thing. All right, so the district court, there's like 94 districts. The appeals court, there's 13 circuits. All right, so the Supreme Court ruling.
The federal, no, you're still misunderstanding because the district courts are in the 13 circuits. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's 3 levels, right? Is that
right?
Correct?
But they're all like so. There's 3 levels because now like the United States has gotten so big. Like if we go back to like when it was at its inception, let's say there was 1 federal court, 1 appellate court, and 1 Supreme Court.
Okay. Well, let me just get my one question. So all right. So let's just say level 1, level 2, level 3. Does the Supreme Court ruling focus only on level 1, or does it focus on level 1 and 2? That's what I was trying to get clear.
You're not okay. What you're not understanding is that there is no level 2 for this kind of issue, because what they're saying is that
there's only
trial
1 and
courts
3
cannot issue nationwide injunctions. So there's not a way for if a trial court, say like we're in wherever and they issue this said injunction now, it will only apply to that limited area, which means that the appellate court will only have jurisdiction to rule over whatever district they are in.
Kalisha, let me say this, Kalisha. See if you agree with this, and I know you will. The Supreme Court today limited the power of the lower courts to stop Trump, to stop him from governing by executive orders. Is that
correct? Correct.
That's a beautiful word. They limited the power that the lower courts, CEO, 1, 2, 3, whatever, the lower courts have to stop Trump and his governing by executive orders.
Right. So now the only person who's really going to be able to limit the Trump is going to be the Supreme Court. Because, really the question is, okay, does the district court have control over federal law? They're saying no. The district court only has control over the law in their district.
This is where the King conversation comes in. There's nothing to check him except the people that he put in office or put in the Supreme Court. That's the only thing that can check him in essence. It takes like 6 years. Jay, what do you think? 6 years? If you're lucky to get to the Supreme Court? Shit, sometimes it takes 10 years.
Depending on the case and the publicity of it, it could take anywhere between 5 to 15 years, maybe even 20, for you to reach the Supreme Court. And even if you do reach the Supreme Court, they have to reach some type of agreement to actually hear your case. And if they don't want to hear it, they'll just say no, and you're out of luck.
Okay, now real quick. So I want to work with a real example, Kalisa, before I have to run quickly. So let's say that they wanted to deputize bounty hunters to be ICE agents, okay? And that the Trump administration just decided to start doing that, right?
Yes.
But in your example, you're basically saying that they would essentially be allowed to do that, except for in the district court that said you can't do it.
So
but it would be able to go nationwide until it got to the Supreme Court.
Well, no, what it means is that every single circuit would have to file a lawsuit to get an injunction, a TRO, a temporary restraining order, preventing that law from being put into place.
File it with the Supreme Court, right?
No, because it's actually more complicated than that because, right, like we said, you have to go through each step of the process, right? So that means that now instead of having to file 1 lawsuit, 13 lawsuits have to be filed. And then those 13 lawsuits will be appealed and they'll go up, and it's clogging up the courts. It's not judicially efficient. The other problem if we have courts who rule differently? Okay? So what if we have a court in Alabama who decides one way and a court in Montana who decides a different way? Then you're creating more and more issues that have to be addressed by the court.
But Kalisha, did not the Supreme Court just say no? It limits all the power of all these lower courts to come against, to push back to Trump at all. That's the weight of it is it limits the power of the lower courts to stop Trump.
No, you're not understanding. So instead,
Hold on. I think what you're saying is you could have a ruling that you could still have birthright citizenship in like New York in the Southern District, but other states won't allow that. So
correct.
Different rulings in different states.
Yes, correct.
Technically.
And that's like saying, oh, federal law applies in one state but not in the other state. That's insane. So when we talk about like closed borders per se, it is insane. It's mind-boggling to say, okay, because the California district courts just ruled against this, that means that they do still have an open border, but the border on the East Coast is closed because they ruled a different way.
Okay, can I
Can
ask a question? Mel, are you there? Mel? Sam?
Yeah, what's up?
Are you gonna be around? Cause can we get back to what we were doing, or let me know what we're gonna do? I had to take a call and send an email.
Okay. I was thinking of blowing this room because someone is streaming it.
Someone's streaming it?
Yeah, that's what the rumor. What do you think about
can we just kick that person out?
I don't know who it is.
You can't because so they've been doing this all for the past couple of weeks. It's the Anon people.
They've been doing it.
It's the Anon people, and you can't kick them out. You could start another room, but they're going to record that.
I know, because they're doing it in 420 as well, Sin. Right. So even if we do it, they're just gonna come back under anonymous.
Because we know who he is, and there's a big campaign going after him, reporting him.
Yeah, somebody sent me already his information and the link to his what do you call that? YouTube stuff.
Oh, Ben M has his home address, has his information. He's got a big campaign.
I'm not trying to dox nobody because he has my style.
Him. No, they're going after him legally because of the way he's representing himself. So yeah, we can't get rid of him because he keeps opening up these anonymous accounts. The way the platform is right now, he'll just keep coming back in.
Yeah, when Joe was in Ben's room, Clubhouse Joe, and we were giving him this feedback, and he essentially was saying, well, too bad because it's public, people streaming on YouTube. And he didn't really seem that concerned. I think it's a powerful feature that they created this Anon thing. It's ridiculous. You can't engage in chat, you can't get on stage, and you can't remove them. And this is what happens.
It's only for stalkers. That's the only reason it was initiated, is so people can come and stalk you that you probably don't want in there in the fucking beginning. Because why do you have to be anonymous?
Exactly.
That's wild. So
we know who this one is.
But to answer your question, I don't think we need any more clips, Lisa, because this wasn't they didn't really get to the heart of the issue. This is all about nationwide injunctions, which we were talking about. And so the birthright did not come up yet. Maybe it will in the future, but for now, this is just about nationwide injunctions. So we're just kind of figuring that out.
All right, so we can continue on with that. Just want to see it because I need to preference my time. All right, so I'll hang in with what you guys are talking about. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, you guys, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was just trying to gauge what I need to be doing. Okay, go ahead.
Does anyone else have questions about like the implications of this, or is there a part that doesn't make sense in what I said?
This is all really kind of straightforward in my opinion. I don't think it's speculative.
So if we're not listening to the press conference, and you guys, what portion then should I be pulling up here? Just the pundits who are talking about what this actually means.
So I think we kind of explained what it actually means, and we're just talking. We just kind of like went over that. If you want to go over it, there's like a few different cases that came out today. Mm-hmm. I know this is kind of like the big one. Yeah. But there's like a couple of cases that came out today.
That's what she was talking about. She said, this is not the only one. Let me get to the bigger one. But, yeah. So what's your thoughts on this, Sam? Or can you talk?
I mean, I think the point here is to confuse people, right? Since, Kalisha mentioned earlier that you can have one state, a court in one state rule one way and then another state rule another way. And so technically you can have birthright citizenship in New York, but like not in New Jersey, for example. I don't know if New Jersey and New York is still the Southern District, but, that just causes chaos and confusion, right? And so it's just, these laws are federal laws, right, all across the board. So it just makes sense to handle them in like a streamlined process. So this just creates a lot of confusion. And I think Dr. Goddess, I don't know if she's here, but she brought up like a really good quote from Ketanji Jackson. And I don't know, it's just, people, when they say they voted for Trump, they're like, oh, there's still checks and balances. But this sort of like, removes that check and balance that we have with the court and making them less effective. So it's disappointing. It's disappointing for sure. But there's a redistricting case. There's a challenge to telephone and internet for rural communities. There's the Texas Pornhub age verification. There's Affordable Care Act case too. So there's a bunch of, and then there's the parents' ability to opt children out from lessons involving LGBTQ. So there's a bunch of cases today, but we can kind of continue this because this is the big one. But just so you're aware, there's a bunch of stuff that's like that came down the pipeline today.
Okay. Yeah, it is. I'm going through most of it. I'm reading like the articles, but my eyes are hurting. I'm reading too much. All right, so I'm on cue. I know what's going on now. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot though. It's a lot to read. Okay, I printed out as much as I could.
Not you wasting paper. I
like to read. I'm gonna kill a few trees tonight. I like to read shit, so I just printed out, what we're gonna do for either the rest of the day or tonight. But okay, go ahead, y'all. That sounds like, Thank you guys for coming to Politically Correct. SCOTUS done sold us out. So.
The redistricting case is also really important because that decides whether or not they can do some racist bullshit to make it simple. So, I mean, it's not good.
You know what this reminds me of? It really reminds me of Hunger Games. Like we're gonna have separate districts and each will function completely separately with this new ruling because the way the laws will now function because the courts won't be able to rule. It's almost like we won't have a country because we'll only have the king, and then you will only be able to get, it will be so hard to get your case to the Supreme Court. And then only in your district. You know how they have districts in that movie? So in that movie, you can only function with the courts within your district. And then if you can make it up to the kingdom, it'll be so hard to get to the king. That's why it reminds me of that movie, Hunger Games. That's where we're going.
So I'm actually looking at the consumer research case, the FCC versus consumer research. This is the challenge to subsidize telephone internet for rural communities. I just have a short summary here. It says the Supreme Court upheld the funding structure of the federal program that helps provide phone and internet access to schools, libraries, rural areas. Thank you. And low-income communities. The program created under the 1996 Telecommunications Act is funded by telecom companies, which pass the cost on to customers. A nonprofit called the Universal Service Admin Company, created by the FCC, helps manage this fund. The group Consumer Research challenged the program, claiming that Congress improperly gave too much power to the FCC and USAC. In a 6-3 decision by Justice Kagan, the court rejected this argument and said the current setup is constitutional. Justice Gorsuch, Alito, and Thomas dissented, arguing that the power given to the FCC and USAC goes too far. So here's something where actually there is they agreed that this was constitutional, and the conservative judges dissented. 3 of them dissented. So I guess there's one small, the usual more right-leaning.
The usual. So that's Thomas, Alito, and Gorsuch. I knew it was going to be Thomas. I just wanted to make sure.
Also, I misspoke. They have not decided the redistricting case yet. So that's one of the opinions that's still being held. It's one of the last ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
We need to pray.
Yeah, it just says they need more time. But I think Matt, the only Matt that I acknowledged, the Matt from Chicago, he was in here yesterday, and he was saying how 2030 is gonna be a bloodbath because Democrats are gonna lose a lot of seats, and so because of the whole, how Trump ended the counting of people, what he got the census. He ended it early because of the pandemic, and a lot of people didn't get counted in these Democratic majority cities. That's really going to come into play 2030, and Democrats are really going to be losing their minds because we're going to lose a lot of seats in places like New York and etc. So this stuff, it may not seem like it's important, but this stuff, the way our elections go sometimes is this stuff is so crucial, and it just makes it's going to be an uphill battle.
Asen, before 2030, though, the Democrats could be in charge to be able to make the census a little more favorable to them.
Well, fingers crossed. What's up, Scotty? I'm not sure how much of you heard the conversation, but we were talking about that major decision from the court about the national injunctions, nationwide injunctions. That came down the pipeline. We were talking about the subsidized internet to rural communications. That was actually ruled constitutional. And then the Louisiana redistricting case was, they asked for more time for that. There's also the Free Speech Coalition versus Paxton. That's the Texas Pornhub age verification.
Right, so that was allowed, right?
In a 6-3 decision, the court sided with the Fifth Circuit and ruled against the adult entertainment industry's trade group. So Justice Thomas wrote the majority opinion supporting the age verification requirement. Justice Kagan dissented, joined by Sotomayor and Jackson, of course. So the ruling strengthened state authority to regulate access to adult content in the interest of protecting minors.
Right.
So yeah, that's another one.
Right. And also tracking people who use porn. I mean, that's the real thing right there. Okay. Anyway, no, the only reason I left is because I don't like sharing the stage with fucking MAGA shill buffoons who aren't even funny. So I'm glad I can.
Don't worry, you can always count on me to terrorize them enough that they run off.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you, ma'am.
Like, honestly, it was so bad that I was just getting ready to leave, but he left, and I was like, oh, I'll stay then, because I can't really do it today. It's Friday. The weather's actually cool now in New York. It was a fucking cesspool a couple days ago, so now the temperature dropped, so now I can fucking, leave my house, and I can turn off the AC. It's just, like, crazy. So anyways,
yeah.
That's off.
Look, ever since the great Mayor Adams has announced his re-election campaign, the weather has been cool. So I appreciate that from him.
Isn't Cuomo saying that he's also gonna be in the? I forgot.
Nah, he said he's not. I don't think he's running anymore.
Well,
he said that.
This is brand new. Go check it out.
I thought the decision was supposed to be today whether his name would be on the ballot.
And that's what it was. It said yes. Go check it out.
Okay.
I thought he said he was going to be independent.
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
I thought Cuomo said that he was going to run as an independent and still be on the ballot.
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
So that's what I heard from the very beginning. I don't know what was said today, but when all that was going on, it was like that night of Mom Donnie and all that celebration. It was like Cuomo was already saying he's going to come back and still run, but run as an independent.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm saying that he is still going to run. However, a lot of the unions are dropping him like a hot potato, and they're getting on the Zoran train. Because it doesn't look like, I mean, yeah, a lot of people, I mean, you go with, who you negotiate with, and who you think, has the most likelihood of success. A lot of people don't think that, he has a lot of likelihood of success, especially, I mean, if Adam runs, you're going to cut into, some of the same people that would vote for Adams will vote for Cuomo. So if they both run, that kind of hurts Cuomo. Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to hear the latest polling, Sim?
Sure.
So, here's the latest polling. This is from today. The poll, if Mamdani beats Adams, if Cuomo sits out in November. But if not, the ad just popped up. If not, it's a statistical tie between Mamdani and Cuomo. If Cuomo stays in, with the Republican getting 13% and Eric Adams 13%. So if Cuomo stays in, he's getting a lot of the great Mayor Adams vote. If he drops out, Mamdani can beat Adams. Very interesting.
Interesting. We shall see. We shall see what happens. But yeah, fun times.
Yep, it's going to be Mayor Adams summer up in here.
I think it's gonna be a Mamdani summer in here, because I think Mayor Adams, when I heard him talk, he's giving me like, bro, you outdated. Like, bro, ain't nobody.
It sounds like he's on Clubhouse a lot.
Yeah, you represent the old heads, bro. Like, you coming on a whole level that 30, 35, 40, and under, bro. Of all ethnicities, they not on that page, bro. You singing some old ass
him last night? Did you hear him last night on his?
No, what'd he say? What'd he say last night? I didn't hear that.
What did he say? Can I paraphrase? He said something about if you Negroes don't get out and vote for me. It's what he said. Did I hear that right? That's what you played, Mel, right? Anyway, or Lisa, you played it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he said,
it's remarkable.
This is how Jesus Christ felt.
The only thing I agree with him is crypto. Yeah, he's on point with that, but because I know his history, fuck that nigga.
No, this was last night. This is re-election.
Whoa.
I think he's an old head that I can't see him winning New York within this thing. I'm seeing that I think we got a window into a whole new energy. When you saw Mamdani and you realize all the people that's backing him from all these different areas and angles, and it ain't just a whole bunch of Muslims or some shit. It's a whole lot of different people. He got 50,000 people that was out knocking on doors and stuff for him. Like, I don't think people quite realize that the desire for change, especially in this Trump climate, the freshness that I think he represents, I think, Adams, you're going to wake up and try to you're going to make it real ugly, and it's going to end up being ugly for you, in my mind.
Well, I just want to say, if I'm not mistaken, Scotty, he said that Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
That's right, he did say that.
That's what
and then
said.
He said, if you Negroes or something.
If you Negroes.
Yeah, that was me. I have that clip. Y'all want to hear it?
Yeah, I'd like to hear this dude.
For sure. This is from yesterday, y'all.
I'm gonna fucking die laughing.
Y'all didn't hear it? You know how it was
She was funny though.
Alright, let me cue it up for y'all. Mayor Adams is a judge. You know what? If you don't like him for anything else, you gotta like him for the earrings and the tailored suits and the eyebrow. Yeah, but having your eyebrow. Now, come on, y'all. This is a good thing.
No, he arches his eyebrows.
He has the not arch. What? See, like look. See that? There you go. The only thing he's doing is having a little cleanup, and the best way to do it is with the threading. If y'all men would be more groomable, you would know that. Okay, hold on. Let me put you on mute while I cue this up.
And I saw you on Follow Me, Dad. That's fine. I returned the favor. Thank you.
We did more manicures too while we.
I mean, I hope so.
Color the fingernails.
Okay, I got it. Let's see, here in New York, it's not a city of handouts. Is that the one where you're saying this is not a city of handouts?
Oh, I don't know. This is re-election thing yesterday.
Okay, I know. I'm looking at it from yesterday. Let me just add the word Negro and make sure I got the right one.
I heard it say this is not a city of handouts.
Mayor Adams calls out New York Negroes. Yeah, that's it. Wait, Okay, here we go. Y'all get ready for this. This is comedy hour. This is the kind of shit that I thrive on. Calling y'all Negroes. I'm not mad at you, Mayor Adams, and I will be voting for you just because you called them Negroes. You got my vote. Okay, here we go.
Sure. This is a biblical moment.
Hold on, boo-boo. That's not a biblical moment. Hold on. Hold your underwear.
That's it, though. That's it.
I want to get the
Japanese women weigh less and never considered the secret.
This is a biblical moment.
Okay.
Language that the mayor has used before, but many are wondering if instead of drawing in more supporters, that he may have in fact pushed some away.
Not me, bro.
While hosting a Black History Month event at Gracie Mansion Tuesday night, Mayor Adams addressed critics calling for him to step down amidst the controversy surrounding him, specifically Black New Yorkers.
So, this is a biblical moment. You know, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, God forgive them, for they know not what they do. All these Negroes were asking me to step down, God forgive them.
Adams' comments touched off a firestorm. Professor Wallace Ford is chair of the Public Administration Department at Medgar Evers College.
His remarks typically are pretty well tailored. This one, I think, it did not help him at all, and may have proven to be a problem. It's just not useful.
The mayor addressed the fallout in an interview on Good Day New York Wednesday morning.
I thought I was very clear in my definition of what I said.
So anybody who's black who calls for you to step down, they need help from God. I'm focusing on this because your use of the word Negro has come up repeatedly over the last couple of weeks. And I think some people actually have an issue with that term. So explain who you're talking to when you use that term specifically.
I didn't say they need help from God. I said pray for them. Wasn't that what I said?
You said, quote, God forgive them.
Exactly. Let's pray for them. And so let's focus on this for a moment. Isn't our democracy is based on who the people of the city elect? Why are we trying to disrupt and take the power away from the people of the city who elected me to be the mayor? And then ask the question, what have I done that we're going to usurp that power from the people?
How much it will hurt him, I don't know. If you're black and you were going to vote for Mayor Adams, you probably still would, but there's some people who might just be turned off by it. And then the white community, the Latino community, I was just wondering, what is he really talking about?
Adams is the first sitting New York City mayor to face criminal charges the Justice Department has ordered be dropped with the support of President Donald Trump. But that is yet to happen. A just-released poll by the Honan Strategy Group places him at third among possible candidates ahead of June's Democratic primary. The mayor has denied any wrongdoing, though many are now weighing in as to whether his comments on Tuesday night at Gracie Mansion may have done more harm than good. Like David Bergfeld is a provost and senior vice president at Kane University and a Fox 5 political contributor.
So already plenty of trouble with this campaign. This doesn't help. It distracts from issues that he may wish to talk about. It distracts from the quality of leadership. It focuses on his
Y'all hating on the white guy talking about.
Yeah, well, he's getting the clubhouse vote. That's for damn sure.
You know, I commented in the chat. His comments lack a certain tact. That I don't think he quite understands.
What tact is lacking?
A black man, like in front of the world, representing all the diversity of religious diversity of everything of New York, and you talking about calling black folks Negroes. Now nobody else is gonna be allowed to call black folks Negroes except this black man. It's too much crazy jump.
Negroes encompasses more than just.
That sounds good, but Negroes is a black thing.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, Negroes is a black thing.
Okay, so why all the Mexicans and other people calling each other niggas?
Because they just trying to ride the bandwagon, but those that really know that Negroes is a black thing.
It's a goddamn thing. When I
don't care what Drake says or what the popular music.
Can I say something? Let me know, factual.
I'm letting you know that Negroes will always be a black thing.
Can I say something? Go ahead, Brooklyn. No, I mean, let's talk about
I ain't want them to argue.
Well, I just wanted to say, look, Brooklyn, don't ever stop me from arguing with Sweet, because you're not doing him any favor.
Don't protect Lisa like that. Lisa's a grown woman. Lisa's a grown woman.
Everything in New York is a nigga. It's terrible, but it's true.
Thank you, Brooklyn.
It is what it is.
Everybody's a
nigga. Everybody. It is what it is.
All right. When white folks and everybody start calling everybody niggas, we don't compete. All right. When Trump start calling black folks Negroes, we don't have to be niggas.
California stuff. It's happening in California. They're calling people niggas in California.
Well, we don't want to normalize it any more than it already is.
Yes,
the station.
Adams is normalizing it.
Well, but that's the reason why it was a problem.
Because when he said what he said, it was just like, what's going on? So y'all Negroes, who are you
Yeah,
talking
but I agree with Sweet with the tag.
Yeah.
That was ghetto.
When did you guys
It
get
was real
tagged in
ghetto.
New York? I mean, fuck is
Man, it's ghetto as fuck. Just like,
Look, now all of a sudden Mayor Adams got a hashtag. There's no
yes, just because the regular people don't do it, we still think
all
it's
the regular
shouldn't be called for that. So what happened to the Trump situation? Y'all left that alone? What happened? I was going.
No. We were gonna go back to it later on in 420 because it's getting a little bit too out of control in here. So.
Oh, so you saying I can't control this crowd? Is that what it
Wouldn't know, man. I'm here.
I am your security guard.
When you left, sis, let me tell you, when you left, they didn't see your beautiful face over in top left. It went left.
But I was never top left.
Well, you know what I meant. Stop. I meant when your face wasn't here, these kids, these people, they just.
Damn it, I said I would be right back.
I need for 5 fucking minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a vacuum, it was a void of
Led by Sweet.
I was trying to bring Anthony left. Anthony had to run up out of here with that nine.
I'm so sleepy. So what time we going into the lounge? About 5?
Early because we got something to do tomorrow. We're gonna go get that spicy facial thing, so we gotta start early.
Ouch. Spicy facials? What's that about?
You know the one when they prick you when they run across your face with that little needle?
Never. No.
Oh, no. So let's get started.
Let's get ready to rumble.
What time is it? Oh, okay. All right. Anybody else want to comment? Subject? Anybody else? They were fighting in here. It was a squabble between me and Sweet, but our squabble's over. Brooklyn, you done with your squabble?
You done with your squabble?
I wasn't squabbling. I just wanted to enlighten him out a little bit.
Lisa, that was the shortest squabble in history. That was
it was a cute squabble.
That was I don't even know if we actually got in the ring, but go ahead, it's okay.
It was cute.
Putting my hair out.
I know that's right.
My hair just going back, reverting to West Africa over some.
No. So wait a minute. Did you find your glasses?
Ma'am, I
Why?
his glasses.
Huh?
I don't know where the hell they are, but
that's a shame. Did you put your so you got your what you want, Cash App? I don't do Zelle. So I'm still waiting on that information. Are you gonna do it?
It's too much of your personal information as far as your checking account or some shit, right?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't mess with Zelle. I don't mess with that.
No, they just gotta have your number to do Zelle. Their phone number. And they won't show up your checking information? No. It just shows them your number. That's it.
It just shows them your number. So that means you
your
don't
email, it's either your number or your email, whichever one.
You got PayPal?
Lisa, it doesn't show any personal information.
None. No, it don't.
No personal information. It's a much safer transaction.
I think
because we need to really know who you're paying. So make sure they're in your contacts and you know.
Oh, they have to be in my contacts. If
I'm telling you,
they're not in contacts. They still let you visit, but they
allow me to finish. For security with Zelle, you can set it up so that you only allow payment from and to people that are in your contacts.
We're talking about Clubhouse people. I don't want none of these motherfuckers in my contacts. Except for First Lady and Debbie.
Then you can do them. You don't need to put them in your contacts as long as you know exactly where that money's going.
I don't like Zelle. I don't think so. I sent a transaction. They said that it didn't go through, and then they actually charged my account with what they said did not go through when I already paid the vendor with another form of payment. So I don't play around with Zelle. I don't like that. Yeah. So but that was my personal experience.
But anywho, Venmo is the one you talking about, Lisa, where
Okay.
you put that stuff out there and everybody and their grandmother can see that you just, that, you know.
Okay, I'll make sure I don't use
You
Venmo.
can set Venmo to be private, you guys.
But I'm just saying.
All this stuff, Sue.
Yeah, Venmo is the
For
one.
more than one reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta get this set up. Thank you, Sue.
You're the best, Sue. You know that?
Yeah, she is. Sue's a very knowledgeable lady. I wish I could hang out with her.
Very kind-hearted.
Very. And sweet and knowledgeable. Just total California.
Yeah. I don't know about California, but
You were doing good. I could be up if you gotta come and watch the first week. I'll be catching everything she throwing. That is hilarious. She has her boundaries.
I'm sleepy, y'all. I'm trying to stay up.
Okay, so let me switch over then. Let me just open the room and then we'll just continue with this. Are you tired from last night? Because you guys talked me into a coma.
Oh, they did? I left. No, we sung a song before I left. Everybody sung Good Night, Sweetheart. And I clicked on leave. I gotta go, babe. So I don't know what you talking about. I don't know how long
it was. GA. I don't know why GA was screaming to the top of his lungs.
And Dr. Goddess. I know Dr. Goddess was in there because I modded them before I left.
That's what happened.
What are you eating on? Hey, Uncle, are you eating gummy bears or something? That sounds
no, not gummy bears.
Okay. It's a gummy worm. All right.
I like the worms. I like the worms. You know the worms are better than the gummy bears. There's something about the worms.
They softer.
Is that? Have you guys tried the clusters? The nerd clusters?
Oh.
The gummy clusters? No.
Oh my
Nerd
gosh,
means,
they're so good.
Does nerd means they're sour or no?
Yes, they're sour and sweet at the same time.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill
They're gummy on the inside and nerd on the outside.
Oh
they are
my god.
amazing. Okay, I will not be held responsible for how much you eat and your hips. I'm gonna just tell you right now.
Yeah, I don't mind eating that.
I have turned a lot of people on and they've become addicts. So enjoy this.
I want big hips.
What's going on?
Nerds? I want big hips. Okay.
They're called gummy clusters, yeah.
I know.
Oh, it came right up on Amazon.
Yep.
No, put it down.
And I like the red bag better than
Delete.
the red bag.
And the red bag came up.
Delete. Listen to me. Delete it now. Delete it.
Right in my car.
No. Take it out. Get out of there and go open up the room. What's going on?
All right, we're going now. And they're only 7.
Lisa, put that down. Do not order that right now. Put it down.
Can I borrow somebody's EBT card to take EBT?
When Amazon takes EBT?
That's what it's saying in here.
Shut your mouth.
This is too much, girl. You're never going to leave the hiding spot. They take EBT. Can I borrow somebody's EBT? I cannot believe it.
You're going to jail. EBT card, girl?
No, you can't. That happens every day.
No, you can't. You can get in trouble.
Well, not legally, but...
It happens all day, every day.
It's all right.
Yeah. You still,
Okay, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Bye. No fun.
Alright, but we can wait until 5 if you want to wait until 5.
No, I said I'm getting ready to go now. I'm just going to go over and open it up right now so you guys can come in there and we can really talk about EBT theft and
bring your snacks
and why I'm hiding out in somebody else's house for the next month. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to open.
Nationwide is on your side. Melly Mel, you there? No, it's gone. Mel, you sleep?
What happened?
I was just checking because we can't go to Lisa's house.
She open up front?
She getting ready, so. Yeah, we're
All
moving
right.
over.
I if you're watching Nelly Nashanti.
I didn't beg, borrow the stove for her to open up.
Yes, you did. You really did. You worked it. You worked it hard, girl. Her and her bag of chips. You said, come on.
Hello? Come on, sis. Let's go now.
Something special is gonna happen.
Oh, Lord.
Here as if he was denied bail, I want to say.
That is the best feeling in the world.
That is the best feeling in the world.
And the issue is going to be where I think it was the last time, where is he going to live, who is going to guard him, and those are the bigger issues that they couldn't figure out the last time. I think I said they had about 48 hours.
Good rest.
Now they had a considerable amount of time.
Oh, I'm about to take a good nap. I'm gonna need like
Not you trying to go to the other room to take a nap.
Yeah,
don't fall asleep with your mic on. You'll be here sleeping in somebody else's house. It's crazy. Yeah.
What's going on?
We'll be here
Let's play it. What's going on?
They just couldn't get the right security for him and the accommodations. How much will it be? I think that, we'll look at that package that they presented. Was it a $50 million package? It surrendered all of his children's passports and, something similar. So I think it might be that, but they might come with some additional offerings because apparently the court didn't find it satisfactory or sufficient. So I think it may be, maybe, who knows how they'll get creative, maybe 25% on top of that 50 million in the house and the passports, but who knows? But I think he'll definitely make another application for it.
Mm-hmm. You brought up a good point, Afi, because I've been thinking in such black and white terms.
They're talking about if there's a what is it, retrial, right? Retrial?
Mm-hmm.
That he will try to
Karen Reid, for
try to put an application for bail.
Right here in New York, he
to see
and another
if he can come out. Not that that's gonna work, because it didn't work for 3 times. Then he tried to do it, but he's gonna try to do it at the end of the day.
Right now we're in closing rebuttal, but we still have all next week, and we're going to be doing special coverage here on Law and Crime throughout all of that during the deliberation. So make sure to keep with us. And a lot of you have been, and writing us amazing.
Oh, you're multitasking. I was watching the show, but then when I heard you, I muted the show, and then I started listening to this.
With the bag lady, which I'm going to try to do. By the way, she says, here, please shout out Alexandra McDonald. She is amazeballs, which I can confirm. I've known Alex as long as I've worked here at Law and Crime. She is one of my first friends as a coworker. Absolutely agreed. Our entire team, 10 out of 10. Wouldn't change a thing. All right, Smarty Pants 1225 says, who writes the quote? Or as a team. I'm going to ask you, based on your...
All right, let me get the link. I got it right here.
As a federal prosecutor...
I got the link. The link is the link.
Yeah, so here's how I used to do it. So I would draft it.
Hey, everybody, click the link up on top. We're closing down this room.
So like, hey, is there anything I should absolutely include? And let's not forget, they've been talking about this case for months. So they have...
The goose.
And then
click
they're
the link.
Practicing it. The showers.
Click the link. We leaving.
Go ahead, now. I got you. Send you what? Send you sleep?
Nobody responded. Everybody
I'm here. I'm going.
Alright. Ambassador, Uncle, click the link. Matt, you there? Brooklyn, you there? Mimi there. We are there. Super cop. Ma, are you there? What's going on? Click the link. Everybody click the link. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click the link. We're closing. It's been great. Thank you for flying the friendly skies, politically correct. We appreciate your attendance today. Please join us at 420 Lounge. Click the link. This room will be ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off!
I'm saying, Brocus kone Ertram Sedara Pino to Sato, Sedara Picolas Nana Flimunia, Okalikator to Wele. Sapina to Satana, T. Arkisan at the Bahana, Tigray, ካብ ሑመራ ወፂኡ ወይ ከዓ ካብ ምዕራብ ትግራይ ወፂኡ ኣብዚ ሕጂ ንብሎ ዘለና ናይ ከባቢ ገዳሪፍ ኣብኡ ዓስኪሩ ሕጂ TPLF ምስኡ ብኸመይ እያ ትሰርሕ ዘላ ንሳና ኸ ከመይ እያ ክትብሎ ከለኻ ንሕና ምናልባት ሕጂ ኣብ ፓብሊክ ወፂኡ ዝረብ ስለ ዘሎ እምበር እቲ ውግእ ጠጠው ምስ በለ ኢና ነብስኩ ጀሚረ ሰላም ከመይ ጌርካ ክመስል ከም ዘለዎ ዝነበረ ኩሉ እውን ክኸውን ዘይነበሮ ጉዳይ እዩ ግን ሚስ ካልኩሌሽን ናይ ክድምና ማሕበራትን ነቲ ኩላት ትፈልጥዎ በዓል ማይክል ሃመር እንታይ ገብሩ ከም ዝነበሩ እቲ ውግእ ከመይ ገይሮም ከም ተበገሱ እዚ ሕጂ ዝመፁ ዘሎ ዘረባታት ከመይና ፕሮፖግ ጌርና ትውግእ ከም ዝጅምሩ ጌርና ዝበሃል ዘረባታት ንዕኡ ዝበሉ ፀቢቕካ ነቲ ዝነበረ ሰላም ናይ 2018 ንዕኡ ብሮክ ንምግባር ኣብቲ ዞባ ዘይቕስል ነገራት ስለ ዘጋጠመ ከመይ ጌርካ ትቦታትሞ ኢሎም ኮይኑ ዘበዮም ሰሪሖም ኣብ ከም ዝኣመሰሉ ኩነታት ኣጋጢሙ እቲ ውግእ ምስ ኣጋጠመ ሕጂ ገለ ክፋል ሰራዊት ናይ ትግራይ እቲ ዘጋጠመ ናይ ምዕራብ ትግራይ ኢልና ንዛረበሉ ከባቢ ሁመራ ዝነበረ ውግእ ምስ ትግራይ እውን ስለተቆርጩ ስለ ዝነበረ እተው ስለ ዘይነበሩ ናብ ትግራይ ምስ ሱዳን ይወስድ ንሳቶም ክብሉ ከለዉ ኢትዮጵያውያን እቶም ኣብ ማይካድራ ጭፍጨፋ ተፈፅሙ 700 ገለን ህዝቢ ቀቲሎም እዮም ሃዲሞም ሱዳን ከይዶም ኢሎም እዮም ዝዛረቡ ዝዓብኡ ትንታነታት ንዝሓይነኣቱን ኢና ምክንያቱ ደብል ስፖክስመን ከይንገብር ድበሃል ኢና ንዛረብ ዘለና ግን ኣብቲ ኩነታት ክነተሓሕዞ ከለና እዛ ውግእ ናይ ሱዳን ከዓ ብዕድሚያ ክንደይ ጌራ ኣላ ስዳን እቺ ክሪኣ ከለና ካብ ዳርጋ 2 ዓመት ጌራ ሪኣ ኣሎ ስለዚ ታና መንጎና ናብ መንጎ ትግራይ ዝነበረ ውግእ ተቆም ምስ በለ ዝጀመርናዮ ሰላም ብሕሉእ ትሕቲ ሕፃብ ዘይፀንሐ እቲ ኣብ ሱዳን ዝነበረ ናይ ወያነ ምስ ቡርሃን ክሰርሕ ግዴታ እዩ ግዴታ ዝብለኩም ዘለኹ ምክንያቱ እቲ ናይ ዳዕመ ሰሪዕ ስትራቴጂ መበገሲኡ እንተኾነ በዓል ወድ በሻቻ ኮንካ ከመይ ጌርካ ንሱዳን ኣንበርኪካ ኣብ ምብራቕ ሱዳን ወይ ሱዳን ተቃናዕካ ደገልግል ስርዓት ተኽልካት ናይ ኤርትራ ቀሊል ነገር እዩ በቲ ኢትዮጵያ ኣላ በቲ ካብ ምዕራብ ሱዳን ክንመፃኢና ንኤርትራ ክንጭብልቕ ኢና ዝብል ስትራቴጂ እዩ ነይርዎ እዚ ንኤርትራ ጥራይ ዘይኮነ ሓደገኛ ንኢጅፕት እውን ሓደገኛ እዩ ይበሃል ሕጂ ምስ ቀይሕ ባሕሪ ኣብ ኣብ ደገ ኣብቲ ናይ በዓቲሩ ሲ ነዚ ስዊዝ ካናል ይኣትውዎ ኣለዉ ማለት ይኣትውዎ ኣለዉ እዚ ከም ዝኣመሰለ ኩነታት እዞም ኣብ ምዕራብ ሱዳን ዘለዉ መን ዝጥውሮም ብኸመይ ናብሮም ኣልዩ ኣብኡ ትንታነ ይንኣቱ ዝኾነ ይኹን መገዲ ግን ኣብቲ ዝነበረ ውግእ ተሳትፎ ምስ ኣልብርሃም ኮይኖም ኣብቲ ውግእ ተሳቲፎም እዮም ዝበሃል ዘረባታት ኣሎ ንባህልትዮ ትመጥፎት ስለዘይወዓልኩውን መረጋገፂ ከዓ ስለዘይብለ ብዝኾነ ይኹን ግን ኣብ መንጎ ዋሓትን ኣብ መንጎ ብርሃኒ ናይ ባሓቂ ዝምድና ክፍጠር ግን እቲ ግዜ ድሓቶ እዩ እቲ ግዜ ድሓቶ ክቶ እዩ እቲ ዘሎ ኩነታት ድሓቶ ክቶ እዩ ምክንያቱ ሰራዊት ኣናብሎ ዝተገመ ረኸብያ ብምዕራብ ሱዳን ካብ ሱዳን እቲ ትግራይ ከም ክልል እንተዳ ክትቅፅል ኮይና ንከምዚ ዝኣመሰለ እድራት እንተዳ ሓገዛ ድሂቦም ኮይኑ ኦፎር ጌርካ ነቲ ዝምድናኻ ናብ ዝለዓለ ጥሩ ዝብል ምብፃሕ ማንም ሰብ ዝስጉዮ ነገር ስለዝኾነ ሰርፕራይዝ ትኾኑ ጉዳይ ይስሓብተን እቲ ሓደ ወገን ሕጂ እንታይ ኢና ንርኢ ዘለና ዳዕመ ሰሪዕ ኣብኡ ንከይመስል እውን ብደሊልዎም ድዩ ኣይደሎ ብዛዕባ ብዙሕ ክዛረብ ኣይደልን ዕቃበታት ሓይሽ ዝኾነ ይኹን ግን እቲ ዝምድና ግን ግዜ እስትራቴጂን ዝጥቀሞ ዝምድና ስለዝኾነ ተጋሩ ኣብዚ እዋን እዚ ምሳብ ፌደራል መንግስቲ ወይ ከዓ ማእከላዊ መንግስቲ ናይ ሱዳን ዝምድና ምግባሮም ናይ ብሓቂ እስትራቴጂካዊ ኣገዳሲ ንዓና እውን የገድሰና ናብዚ ከባቢ እዚ كذلك وكان مبلغ السودان بالبال كذلك دعم سريع كل دعم سريع إن نزار وانا إمارات إن نزار فإن غمز يكون كلنا ولا نتقرأ ولا نيرتقى مصر حتى بالكان ودي بشاشة بالكان وتداول من شيء مسوي نحنا بنحدث سلازي بزقون يكون من الذي أعود له مسواتهم فرق فرد دل وين مسواتهم تفصل تقدر له خناتي مهنيات تخلي نجارة يكون ولذي ستا سرع دلام سي ويانين القرآن ستا تصرفوا مسانا قاع من قصنا السودان انتهي مرقسي وخلطنا قدم يفعل لا نقوم بقالة زادر باتا كده نحن هون ندوريين نسل زامو تقاضي من السودان تزامي دم أبتدلهم كبابيتات الستا قبورو نحن ندري قدائي سلسل قولنا عنا يجب قلناني زيادة كمان نستمدنا كمان تربية بقول مبالينهم لالواش قالوا بصورة طليق استغراق اليوم وتنكي
يا تبغتي أنا ها صار كده ممكن تبغى تعتاز يا معناته እዚ እንታይ ደሪእካ መስለካ ኣሰላልፋ ይደሪእካ ኩሉ ግዜ ኣሰላልፋ ሓይልታት ቆም እዩ ምክንያቱ ስርዓት ብልፅግና ብንጹር እዩ ኣሰላልፉ ኣነፂሩ ማለት እዩ ሕጂ መጀመርያ ኢማራት ክሰማማዕ ከሎ ምስ መን ከም ዝስለፍ ኣዳዕዲዑ ይፈልጥ እዩ መን ከፊትዋ ደሎ በጃና ገሊኦም ከፍቶም ኣሎ እያ ሰዋ ሕጂ እቲ ሰላልፋ ኢማራትን እስራኤልን እንድሕር ብድሕሪኡ ኣለዉ እስራኤልን ኢትዮጵያን ንነዊሕ ዝኸደ ዝምድና ኣለዎ ነዊሕ ማለት እዩ ክሳብ ናይ ጉዳይ ፈላሻ ምስ እስራኤል ምስ ግብፂ ዘለዎም እስራኤል ምስ ኢትዮጵያ ዘለዋ ዝምድና ሰፊሕ እዩ ኣብዚ ጉዳይ እዚ ከዓ እስራኤልን ኢማራትን ከዓ ዝምድና ገይረን ብምክንያት ቀይሕ ባሕሪ ዝምድና ገይረን ምክንያቱ ክልቲአን ኣክሰስ የብለንን ኣክሰስ ክረኽባ ስለዚ ንመን ሒዘን ማለት እዩ ንመንግስቲ ኢትዮጵያ መንግስቲ ሕጂ ንኢትዮጵያ ክሕዛ ከለዋ ብክልተ መንገዲ እዮም ዝደልዮም በቲ ሓደ መንገዲ ንኤርትራ እንድሕር ስዒሩሎም ቀጥታዊ ኣክሰስ ክረኽቡ እዮም በቲ ካልኣይ መንገዲ ብኤርትራ ተደይሰለጦም ብሱዳን ሕጂ ንሱዳን ከዓ እሶም ምስ መን ተሰሊፎም ምስ ዳዕመ ሰሪዕ ተሰሊፎም ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ኢትዮጵያ ኣነፂር እዩ ምስ ዳዕመ ሰሪዕ ተሰሊፍዎም ዘሎ ስለዚ ኣብ ኩናት ኣብ ሱዳን ኩናት ይካየድ ኣሎ ኣብዚ ኩናት እዚ ከዓ ኣልቡርሃን ከዓ ኣብ ሱዳን ኣሎ ተጋሩ ከዓ ሓንቲ መፀጊዒ ደላቶም ዓመት እዚ ሱዳን እያ ሱዳን እያ ምስ ሱዳን ናይ ግድን እዮም በቃ መንግስቲ ኢትዮጵያ ምስ ኣልቡርሃን ነይሩ ተትኾን ከዓ እሶም ምስ ዳዕመ ሰሪዕ ምኾኑ ነይሮም ሕጂ ናይ ግድን እዮም እዚኣ ክገብርዋ ልዕሊ ኩሉ ከዓ ዕሉማት ወታሃደራት ነይሮም ዓቃብ ሰላም ኣብዚ ናይ ኣብየ ዝበሃል በዚ ናይ ዳርፉር ኣብኡ ዓቃብ ሰላም ነይሮም ንመንግስቲ ኢትዮጵያ ጠሊሞም ንሳቶም ኣብ ሱዳን ዕቑባ ተዋሂብዎም ኣብ ዝኾነ ሰዓት ሕጂ መንግስቲ ሱዳን ክጥቀመሎም ይኽእል እዩ ስለዚ ብዓብዩ ከዓ ሕወሓት ከም ሕወሓት ከዓ እዚ ወልቃይት ብሙሉኡ ኣብ ትግራይ ስለ ዝነበረ ምምሕዳር ዞባ ገዳሪፍን ከሰላን ምስ ተጋሩ ፅቡቕ ዝምድና እዩ ነይርዎ ከም ዞባታት እቲ ዞባ ምብራቃዊ ሱዳን ዝበሃል ምስ ትግራይ ናይ ብሓቂ ናይ ሓባር ብዙሕ ዝሓለፈ 30 ዓመት ብዙሖም ክሰርሑ ፀኒሖም ሕጂ እቲ ዝምድንኦም ቀሊል ኣይነበረን ቀሊል ጥራይ ደይ ምንባሩ ደይኮነ ከዓኒ ነዚኦም ከዓ ነዞም ሓይልታት እዚኣቶም ከዓኒ ኣብ ሱዳን ዕቑባ ንክረኽቡ ከዓ ብዙሕ ክስታይ ገይሮምሎም ሕጂ ብዙሕ ርክባት እዩ ዘለዎም ስለዚ እዞም ሓይልታት እዚኣቶም ርክብ ምግባሮም ሲ ከም ብዙሕ ሓድሽ ኣይትወስዶን ኢኻ ከም ንቡር እዩ ዋላ ሕጂ እቲ ዳሓለፈ ተሰሚዕኻዮም እውን ህዝባዊ ወያነ ሓርነት ትግራይ ሲ ምስ ሱዳን ዞባ ከሰላ ንቡር ዝምድና ገይሮም ገለይሉ ተዛሪቡሉ ነይሩ سو زيتات الحريقة ما يقدني نقول كلهم سلازي تي أرمي سمعة زبهالك أنا تي منقص السودان انت تسقمه ما تقو خيني تسمعني لما خمتي أزياء خصا خل ليلين بابا تسفاي نتانا بابا تسفاي بتعمل سبوتيها عاني شيء كسخلا دلي Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Terima kasih banyak. Mau kenal aja atau sekedar ya?
أنا أقول من بالي وسبحاني لما اليوم حالة جزيزي كله سينها لايت متحضراوي ودايان نهزبي بوزيتيف زرعنا يحدث كونتروفيرلا سبحان نجراسي I think مبلغتنا ما بيقولنا من ذلك تلقى على رأيه زي بحر كله قليل sensitive ነገራት ማለት ኣብዚ ገዛ ፓብሊክ እዩ ሕጂ ዝኾነ ፓብሊክ ሓበሬታ ከዓ ናብ ቤንኒ ዝንውን ክበፅእ ዝኽእል እዩ ስለዚ ሓፈሻዊ ትዛረብ ሞ ኣብቲ ግዜ ላይ ነቱ ተዘይኮነ ፅቡቅ ጌሮም ገልፁና እቲ ነቲ ጂኦግራፊ ናይቲ ቦታ ምፍላጥ ግን ፅቡቅ እዩ ትራይቲ ጎግል ማፕ ዝበሃል ነገራት ኣሎ ረኣይዎ እቲ ቦታታት ረኣይዎ ኣብ ብዙሕ ነገራት ሓበሬታ ቀፃሊ ዝብለና ኣሎ ማቴኖ ዘምፅኦት ቦታታት ማለት እዩ ባባስፋይ ውፅኡ የገልፅዎ እዚ ቦታ ማለት እዩ ንኢትዮጵያ ሓደ ስትራቴጂያዊ ቦታ እዩ እቲ ቦታ ዝነዓቅ ቦታ ኣይኮነን ካብ ሕሞራ ጀሚርካ መወዘወይ ብሱዳን ዘደወቦም ቦታታት ኣብ ገዲቦን ኣካራርት ቦታት ናይ በዓል ፋሸጋገር ዘሎ ማለት እዩ ስቡዕ መሬት ኣሎ መወዘወይ ደይብ ናብቲ ተከዘ ኣይደኖታ ቢንቶ ናይ ሕሞራ ናይ ኤረታት ዛግድኮ يلا يا بابا صفاي I don't know حجزنا تا
تسيرا تا مرامي انت جيت سبتنا غلط بيتو تسيرا
يلا يلا اوكي حجزنا ابي ابو زكاتا نعال حتى انا بتصير ماني وابدي ابناي سمين ناي تግራይ تقبلوا منها زيرو ماني I think مكرها ناي توبيا ما زيرو ماني بس ابي ازلابتي بعد بمادر غدا حبابي أبزي أبعد من خاطر ما يسوي كذا خبابي ما أدري حنيف كان لا ضمنا بعد جمال وضع هو صاد يا هو ساعة عندك أي لا عندي ولا أنت كمان وقد ساعة حجي تقرأ يبدأ وان زيادة ساعة كذا عمليها أو كرمت تغينه ما هايتو محل لبا على سنة بوتا ساعة لا تجيب قوان مالك واو تخان يسوقوني رمجم نعم إذا لك هذا لهم زيرو ماني رو هجي زيرو ماني رو مابجي هنا دورانا ده نايتي نايكسي هنا هذا لهم عند بابونا تذكرة كم زيرو ماني رو عند بابونا زول فا بابا ترى هو بكم سنة نعم زيرو ماني رو
من بابا درجة
ليرة بعدانسا
هو
لا أساسا لا مسلم أساسا الله I don't know.
إذا السودان تسكر كذا.
إيه؟ بين وقت زلا بين وقت السودان سكر بالمتما.
No بالمتما يكون اسم تحتهم حجر.
ما كلمة تزكي من حجر. التي تكذب في المعراف الموارد بتحضر السودان عن السودان ورزان
لا يتم كمالا بابا تسفاين كنت خلوا أبسم غير حاجة برا الحجي حاليهم يعزوامو شو بس اللي قلت لهم نعم بابا تسفا حتى أربعهم
هو تلاقي أنا قطعته دعما كذا حتى أقول له أنت وسيئات أنا من مرات تراسيت أنا تيجي تبلاش بلاش كتير حج غفر يا له
يا حج ما زال
اوكي اجي تايا تقوم دلاتا شيكر تالا اتا تحت نبرت بيتو تا قبل مرة نترانسيت اجي قبل مرة نترانسيت كله بوردر نا ايرترا نا ايتوبيان مالت نفتش نقطات نبرة نا ايرترا والكاب سكر حمرة اب ترانسيت قات تفتش وغن حمرة قاب تعب دقن حمرة ليرا مفتش مالت اجي كابو نتحتي ككذا تخيل نقول كل سنة زخيل اب سودان جتاني أبتحت عمرة نوبي حيث خيب نيغا ناي بوردر ناي توكان ناي سودان نانا والحدير بالبار بطا بلوم ناس لزغونة مين سابا ناي توك ساعت ويناي ساعت إبتا وعيش كاتو بوردر راوي بتناي سودان سودان تتاوغونا مسيطة بيادة تتاوغونا بارانا لدخي نعنا تدع بخسارة جيرو بحكير جيرو تكذا مسيب إتوبيا غابت معراب مرا جيرو تخيل بوبيلنا عبد الرافع متماني لخي دوب مالتي حجي خاوني تحتي أكشي مرقر بعد بهالبوتا ويكا قر بعد بهالبوتا ترايد كذا دلو سودان مساعدة خامان
بابا تفاعبو خلقا حجس كابو محجرسي نيمان توان بلو لنا
نانا قول كولي تخيد
هو نقول كله من يمان نبعل نخسل أقول تخيد نبلا لنا
نا
تابيدا
ماني خاطرو إني ذاتوني قدارك منغو خسران منغو قدارك نزي قربا بهالبوتا يدعو
قربا معسكر مالتي
أقربا إذا أقربا مساعدة وصلوا بنتغين لا أتبارا مسكتك بسنين دي تحواسينا
هو يا يوين بالا
تلتي كان دلما
كيرب بشكمي ليه هو
سيدو المعرات تخيدو تقابي أصوصا مسمساتي سليم نيل عندنا توايت عندك أبنيو بي ساوز مسمسو أبكارتو مراقو أبكارتو تراقي ومبجيل سامي أبوبا
Alright, 1 second. So, Lisa, what's up, everybody? But yeah, basically okay, this whole ruling about the Supreme Court basically it pretty much just allows him to go forward with his executive order. They did take care in order to specify that this is not at all a ruling or any type of decision on the constitutionality of birthright citizenship and all that type of stuff. But what it's just saying is that his executive orders cannot be blocked, but then they also went further to say that his executive orders also cannot take effect for another 30 days. So what this is basically doing is just in my opinion, is just allowing him to carry forward with his deportations, and that's why he immediately stripped the temporary protective status, for Haitians, and then what that does is expose about 500,000 Haitians to the threat of deportation, essentially immediately. I do think that the whole concept of birthright citizenship, though, will come up when he starts deporting, quote unquote, what people refer to as anchor babies. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So they're not speaking on the constitutionality of that now, but I would think that what will trigger it is when he actually deports somebody who was born here and then they sue, and then the question will come up if they are citizens, and I guess that's when the Supreme Court will be, forced to answer that question.
Okay, I might volunteer myself to any law group. Let them try to conform me. I'm gonna get ready.
Okay, listen, what I got, who's the anchor baby? Okay, so I'm just gonna read this.
I'm proud of you.
Okay, you can be deported. I'll chip in. Okay, Haitian. So, welcome to the 420, you guys. We're going to talk about what happened today. Thank you for that, Amici, because I was looking for the article, but I found one that's going to break it down to where the ghosts can get it so people can understand. Then I'll play another analytical clip about it. But this is from my good old friend, New York Post, and they never get shit wrong. Oh, let me turn my music. Okay, so it says on here for today, June 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Trump scores major win in birthright citizenship case as Supreme Court curbs nationwide injunctions. So, and then I'm also gonna play a clip on how somebody tried to excoriate one of our justices, our only black female justice, and we'll go and play that as well because she dissented. Y'all know who that is. Okay, so the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Friday that nationwide injunctions issued by lower court judges likely exceed the judicial branch constitutional authority, handing a major boost to President Trump's push to end birthright citizenship. The case, Trump versus CASA Inc., revolved around the administration's challenge to multiple lower courts sweeping injunctions against Donald's Day One order overturning the long-standing constitutional protection. The Supreme Court did not address the merits of Trump's actual order in its opinion, only the extent to which one of the nearly 700 district judges in the U.S. could block an executive action from taking effect. At the White House, Trump called the ruling a monumental victory for the Constitution and announced plans to advance his birthright citizenship order, as well as other policies that have been blocked by federal courts. So he's moving ahead with birthright citizenship. Federal courts do not exercise general oversight of the executive branch. They resolve cases and controversies consistent with the authority Congress has given them. Conservative Amy Coney Barrett wrote for the court's majority. When a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its powers. Let me go down and see. Let me see if there's anything else that's more interesting. Okay, justices from across the ideological spectrum have long raised concerns about the lower courts overstepping their authority by doing oral arguments. The nation's top courts still struggled over how or whether to draw the line. Barrett wrote that universal injunctions lack a historical pedigree and were not authorized under the 1789 Judicial Act. But she and other conservative justices, in their concurring opinion, seemingly suggested that class action suits are a viable tool that can be used against illegal presidential actions. Okay, so from what I'm getting from this is that they're just saying that the lower courts are in the way, and now Trump with his 700 appeals can move forward on some of his executive orders. Is that what you guys are getting? And the number one he's looking to do is the birthright citizenship.
They're going to stop the courts from putting all this obstacles in his way when he starts to do his executive orders, because they already had given him the power to initiate a lot of stuff with that last vote that they did last year, that Biden was so worried about him getting, allowing him the latitude to do a lot of shit, but they were using the lower courts to block it and slow it up, and now they won't be able to do that anymore. And I think that's to his benefit. He's had a hell of a week, to be honest with you, because he also had that, he made the right choice on that Israel thing. That was a tough choice that he made, because I didn't really think he should have went with BB. Well, about bombing him. About bombing, that was a tough choice, because he had to.
Not Israel, he bombed Iran, not Israel.
Of course, that's what I said about the Israel thing. I know who he bombed. But what I was saying was it was a tough choice that he made, because he could have kept out of it. And that's what people really wanted him to do. So by him doing that, he bet on himself, and that made this week a real good week for him. I'll land there.
And what did he really accomplish by bombing Iran?
Well,
if you can give it to us, nothing leaves
what he really accomplished by it is because Benjamin Netanyahu basically tried to call his hand and say, fuck you, I do what I want to do, and I'm going to go into this. But Trump played the smooth, and he said, okay, if you're going to force me to come into the war, I'll drop a couple of bombs on a mountain, and I'm out. And that's exactly what he did. He dropped 2 or 3 bombs on a mountainside and said, okay, I fulfill my agreement to go into war with you. Now you guys settle this shit and chill out. And
he successfully allowed America to get sucked in. He successfully allowed America to get sucked in by Netanyahu into some international shit that America had no business being in.
That's a whole piece.
That's right, but he was smooth enough to get out of it.
Nah, he wasn't.
We ain't out of it.
Nah, he wasn't. Yeah, we in it.
We ain't out of it.
All the way fucking in. Oh, rubber.
Your question, my concern with the court ruling today is that so now the U.S. district courts are not able to make nationwide injunction. So if a case comes up to the district court and they make a ruling, it'll be only relative to that district. And the challenge with that is you will have the various states will have certain outcome of a rule. And I'm not referring to his injunction necessarily to the, let's just say to the his executive order. So if they rule against it, and they put a pause to it, it's only pausing in their district. Now the challenge with that is
in their state too.
Yeah, in the state, right? The relative states within that U.S. district court. That's the reach now. The court has said that those judges will have. They won't have any nationwide injunction, and the question becomes: any type of legal prudence that come up to them. My concern is you can have a divided, scattered nation where one rule is good for these states and is not applied to another state. So I think there's still some chaos that's going to arise from that. But I think it's good that these district courts are now limited in their scope. But at the same time, this doesn't really solve the problem. Moreover, the court did not rule today on birthright citizenship. It pushed it back to the actual district courts, where they will argue that, and ultimately it will come back. And that's where the point we brought up a moment ago about having what's it called, bringing multiple cases together and bringing it back to the courts. Class action. Thank you. Right. Yes, thank you, class action. So in those cases, but even if they bring a class action suit to the Supreme Court again, we don't know what the court will rule. I mean, we have a conservative leaning, a conservative majority court, so that may give you some idea. But I think this is going to be more messier going forward than it's clean. But Trump likes it because essentially no district court can now blanketly across the nation override or halt his executive orders.
He had a good week. You know what else is crazy? And this has only been 6 months. He's done more in 6 months than Biden did in 4 years.
I agree with that. Whether you like it or not, his outcome.
He's damaged more.
Yeah, I was just saying W. I don't know what actually.
No, listen, let me clear. Whether you like it,
he's hurt on in other countries. He's damaged our economy. He's hurt the stock market. He said a bunch of stuff that hasn't been able to be substantiated. So you're right. He's done a lot more in 6 months than Biden did in 4 years.
The stock market is roaring right now. But everything's in the green, baby.
It's easier to destroy than.
Yes, and his impact is whether it's bad or good. He has definitely did a lot of activities.
I'm sorry to cut you. The stock market of crypto is up and down. It's not steady, just stop. Come on, cut it out.
Exactly.
But we're up right now. The market is up.
It doesn't matter if it's down
For the time being, and it's closed. So
it keeps going up and down, back and forth.
it's closed for the Friday bell because it's up. It is a roller coaster, and probably by Monday it's gonna be down. Jamal, just stop. Just stop.
He's had a good week. Why do you guys don't want to give him his props? He had a damn good week.
He's caused a lot of destruction since he got voted. Excuse me. What is it again on January 20th when he got inaugurated? So,
did you guys hear that other guy who just said there's a lot of stuff going on, good or bad, but at least he got shit stirred up? Did you just hear what that man just said, whoever that was? And this is how we measure
Jamal and NW. NW said, well, I have to agree with you on that Trump was done.
Ain't you guys tired of all?
Let me be clear. He's done a lot. I'm not saying
the same thing.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying what he's done is all good, but he is definitely, somebody said, is stir the pot before.
That what you're saying is like a little strange, sir. I'm just saying. You said I'm not saying everything he did is all good. See, that's the problem. It's like we're accepting good as bad shit and dumb shit as normal. We're normalizing a whole bunch of bullshit. But if you think
I'll give you an example.
He speaks a little different than we did.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I'll give an example. For years and years and years, people have saying government bureaucracy and our government is a waste. The Defense Department, on all these things. So Doge came in. What he did was the tactic I do not agree with. I think it should have been more smoother. But he came in like with a bull in a china shop, and he made a lot of wreckage as opposed to doing good. But I think trying to make the change is a good mindset, but how you do go about it, that's a different tactic. And I don't necessarily agree with that. But I think the things that Trump is bringing up is something that people should debate. The voting public should have a say in what he's doing. And not everything he's, like I said, not to be redundant, not everything he's doing is good, but I think the pot has to be stirred.
You sound like somebody that's embarrassed to be a fan of Trump.
No, no, I'm not embarrassed to be a fan of Trump. I'm not necessarily a fan of Trump. I'm not totally against him, but I do like some of the subject matter that's brought up. I just do not like the way he executes.
You sound like somebody. What about what he's done with Congo today? He's stopping the Rwanda-Congolese war that's been going on for over 40 years. They've been fighting.
I have to admit that is a good thing that he's done.
They're signing a peace treaty today. Of course, he's getting minerals out of the deal. He's doing business. Trump is about his paper.
Mox, is this fact about the Congo? He stopped the war in the Congo? Let me talk to them. Hold on. I can't see.
Okay, wait a minute, 1 second. Lisa, go ahead and look it up.
No, I can't.
So basically, he's having a representative from both countries that are signing a peace treaty. Yes. So I put it in the chat earlier, also in the other room, and I stated it. Yes, he has. It literally just was over. I think 15 minutes ago. They signed a treaty. They the council people for Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo was at the White House. They just signed it.
Yes, thank you. So he did that. He stopped the Indian war.
Hold on. And this is why, Lisa and First Lady, this is why I said this motherfucker, he on his way to a Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh my God, don't come in here with that bullshit.
Hey, I'm just saying, look, y'all been saying no, seriously.
deserve it. What is going on?
Hey, look, no. But in all
Does not
seriousness,
deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. What is going on?
No. In all seriousness, the Congo has. Yes, the Congo has been going on for a long. I didn't know it was 40 years.
40 years.
I thought it was the last 10 that it's gotten bad.
Oh, okay. They've been fighting for years.
Okay, fine. That's not my point. He did keep the Pakistani Indonesia war from exploding, which we thought was going to explode. And that's why I said if he solves Ukraine, if there is a Ukraine Russia treaty in the next 6 months, that man gonna get the medal.
No, who lay down?
We come back to the facts that those two signed with the U.S. mediating. They signed this thing which is aimed at ending this bloody conflict. To say that he's ended, oh wow, he's ended this war. You're going too far with that statement. He didn't end the damn thing. They signed something that's aimed at trying to end this bloody conflict that's been going on. So to say that just because that was signed today, all of a sudden everybody in the streets that's been bloody conflict, that just don't stop just because Marco Rubio, on behalf of the Trump administration, they signed this mediated agreement. We gotta let this thing play out. I'm just saying, before we start talking about peace awards and peace prizes and
you gotta give some props. People haven't been able to do this.
Bro, when I know America's involvement in even in Iran, Iraq, and so many other things, and they quote unquote mediate, you don't see the hand up underneath it. Why is America doing this all in the mix in it? The mineral rights. So
mineral rights. Yeah, they
be so quick. You'll be so quick to just like sing praises. Let the report card be drawn out over time here, and we'll see. All of a sudden it's just some benevolent act of whatever. So what I'm saying is, number one, just that being signed, again, there was a ceasefire between Iran and Iraq a few days ago, and they were still bombing each other. So I'm just saying, slow down.
It's gonna take a while.
That's all I'm trying to. That's the only thing I'm making.
Your breath.
It ain't no hate on my breath. If you worry too much about my breath, it ain't about. I'm not. That ain't nobody hate on my breath.
You're doing too much.
It's not done yet, bro. That's all I'm saying. You rushing to this. Oh wow, he saved the world. Wow.
That's it.
Bro,
Every war is about slavery. It's not about minerals. It's about slavery.
Okay, hold on for a minute. The slavery comment.
Yeah, running Africa.
Watch out. Okay, can I just play this clip? Because he's telling you why he did it, and it's all about money. This nigga ain't trying to help you, darkies. Hold on.
Being raided and killed, and I don't even want to say that I've ever heard. Are you uncomfortable? No, that's the part of the world that I know. Very comfortable. Was able to get them together and sell it, and not only that, we're getting for the United States a lot of the mineral rights from the Congo as part of it. They're so honored to be here. They never thought they'd be coming to. Look, this is a very tough part of the world. They never thought. They were just telling me they never thought they'd ever be coming to the White House, and they're so honored. And so we're going to give them a great big reception. But that's after many years of fighting. It's a great thing. That's at 3 o'clock, I believe.
Okay. Why? Explain this to me, all you intellectuali. That means multiple intellectuals. Why are we getting anything out of this deal? Why are you over there taking mineral rights away from people who need them, who really need to be selling their own minerals? I told you, every fucking thing this nigga does is a setup, and he ain't worried about y'all darkies. He's over there trying to get mineral rights. Okay, go ahead, jump in.
I'll tell you.
Mineral rights. Also, Iran.
It's diabolical.
Iran has the world's largest supply of some mineral right now in the northwest section of the country. Then I mentioned Iran,